Matthew! Hi there! Hey! Hey-oh! Whoa! Whoa! Matt!
Hey Phil.
Hey! Oh! Whoa! Hello?
How are you?
I'm just surprised to see you here.
In Studio B.
Yeah.
My home studio.
Yeah, your homestead.
That I built in my
Home.
yard.
Yard, yeah. Wow. As long as we're both here, in Studio B,
Yeah.
might as well do a podcast.
TLDR EP.
EP. What? Whoa. I'm going to all these abbreviations. What's EP?
EP, that's short for episode.
What's TLDR?
Too long, didn't read.
Is that some sort of internet digest?
That is the internet digest.
Hang on a minute. So you're telling me that if I spent the past week off in the Lake District or something, I just haven't had the time to look at the internet, I can just listen to this.
Yeah.
And these two great guys, who for all intents and purposes might be really hot and sexy, you can't see them, so you can't say they're not, because you don't know.
Sculpted from Mars.
Yeah, they might have the bodies of Adonai.
Yes, two.
Two Adonai, yeah.
Adonis is Adonai.
David's the statue, not the given name. Yeah, that's a nice body there. I'm glad you showed me that. Whew, that's looking good. You could sand wood with that. That is...
Could and will.
Yeah, you will generate a fire if you keep rubbing that. That is like a rug. Wow. That's... What do you steam that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So you're telling me though, Matt?
Yeah.
No, just keep rubbing it. Yeah. Yeah, just keep doing that. Finger in the belly button. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. These two great guys are just gonna like take only the best bits of the internet and distill them down into, what is it, a podcast?
Yes, podcast.
That's
It's like a radio show.
but pre-recorded.
But pre-recorded, you can listen to it whenever you like.
Yeah, I must have said that about 500 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right. Where have you been this past week, by the way?
The Lake District.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
That's
no, it's
weird.
nice.
That's weird, because I just used that example, and we had talked earlier about you going to the Lake District, that's probably why.
Yeah.
And admittedly, that is why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's thinking about it, thinking back.
Yeah. Not really all that weird.
Sort of fell in our own grave that we've done there.
Yeah. So you haven't looked at the internet at all?
I've been completely off the grid for 5 days.
That's useful, because I've
been totally on the grid
I've
for
been
5
all
days.
over the grid.
Yeah.
The grid has known nothing but Phil for the past 5 days. I've been on it.
All over it.
I've been on it like AIDS on an African child. Can't say that.
No.
That's really bad. Stink on shit.
Yeah.
Butter on bread. I've been
on
on it
bread.
like butter on bread.
Yeah.
I've been on it like me on the grid. That's probably the best example you can use because it's so accurate.
And that'll resonate well with the fans.
People will know exactly what I mean.
Those first two analogies didn't quite get. Third one,
Yeah.
hit out of the park.
Oh, like Phil on the grid. Yeah, got it. I've actually looked at 4 million articles and links and so on the internet over the past 5 days.
Wow.
And I've whittled it down to a mere 4. I didn't tell you earlier that it was 5, but I miscounted.
1 in a mil.
Yeah.
That's quite impressive. How did you work out? What's your...
I use very strict criteria.
Tell
which
me
is
more.
the plural for criterion. So, yeah.
Little hand gestures today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That worked well, that was good. Yeah.
What is your criteria?
Well, strict. Very
Just strict.
rigid.
So strict you won't even tell me anything about it at all. So strict that you won't even make something up on the spot.
Alright, my criteria is, are the links on the page blue? If they are, yeah.
Out or in.
Right in. If
Right,
they're
okay.
any other colour, like, oh, red. No. out.
What if they're multicoloured? Blue and red, for instance.
Well, there are some pages where, for instance, you get blue and the odd purple. But then,
Get the
usually,
fuck out.
that means that I've already clicked on it, so I'll allow that. Because they have at one point been blue. When I clicked on them, they were blue. And they turned purple, I didn't click on them again, because I'll only click on blue links. They're actually, speaking about this, there was... I'm not going to talk about this, apart from just now.
Cool.
But there was an article on, like, a website of some sort about why...
Probably GFC Podcast.
Probably tfcpodcast.com, my favourite website.
Yeah.
And it was about why Google chose the shade of blue they did for their links.
Why?
Didn't read it, because I thought that's stupid. I'm not going to read that.
Probably attracts
Actually, that's the criteria. If I look at something, I think that's stupid.
You go, yes, please.
No, I go, no, that's
No.
out. I'll only entertain things that aren't stupid. That's why you never see any politics in this show.
It's all
Or at least
stupid.
from me, because I think politics is stupid. I went to the dentist earlier and I was in the waiting room
Yeah.
and the news was on and it was just subtitles.
Wall
It
to
was
wall
muted.
politics.
Just politics mostly, a bit of Madeleine McCann, boring, no one cares anymore.
Still going.
Yeah, that was years ago, no one cares.
I think they murdered her.
Oh, I don't care.
I think they did.
But instead of really paying attention, I was just doing silly voices in my head
Yeah.
to their lip movements. So it's things like, well, I've been using a new conditioner recently. Oh, that looks green on you. Stuff like that. And I was making myself laugh. And then some very old lady looked at me while I was sort of quietly giggling to myself.
in the corner.
Yeah. So I had to stop. Had to pay attention to the actual news instead. Went into a coma.
Oh no.
Yeah. But then the dentist slapped me around the face a bit, woke me up.
Get up.
And he said, oh, you should brush your teeth twice a day.
How are the old teggies?
Really well, yeah.
Good.
Had them
Good
cleaned,
job.
as you
job.
can probably tell from over there.
Yeah.
See, look.
They're glistening.
Yeah. So, well, how would you rate these, by the way?
I'll probably.
No, I don't want to push you to 9. But if you...
They're not quite a 10, they're not perfect. But I'd say
Ouch.
they're above average, they're above a 5. I'd probably just hit smack bang in the middle of about 9.0
Out of...
or a 10.0.
Wow. Thank you.
No, whatever.
Cheers. That's really...
Where's your local dentist?
This is not going to be that interesting for a lot of people. But it's on Leicester Road.
Ah,
Yeah. Dr. Kang.
The one just before you get to tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go there
Technical
when I was a kid.
college. Did you?
Yeah,
It's a good dentist. I like
yeah.
it.
I don't really go to the dentist anymore.
Well, the dental nurse had the hots for me.
Oh, of course.
She
you
stuck
do.
the vacuum right in my mouth, and I was like, I know what that means.
Some kind of cunnilingus thing.
I don't know. I said I knew what it meant, I didn't.
At all.
I think it was actually mostly to suck out excess saliva.
Mm.
But
I hate
having
that
thought
feeling.
about it now.
I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
That complete dry mouth.
Yeah, I can feel a little gap in one of my teeth now that I couldn't feel before because it was full of plaque.
Oh, that's good.
Why don't you pick a number between 1 and 4?
5.
It's not funny, is it? Not big or clever.
Okay, 3.
I'm not
Okay, 2 then.
you're not off the hook. No, we'll stick with 3.
You're just making me change my mind.
No.
You won't let me do
can't.
5. Because
you
of an
can't.
apparent miscount.
Well, obviously.
I think it was the porn that was number 5.
Yeah, before we started, I unmuted my laptop and porn was playing.
Just playing loudly 4
Yeah.
minutes in.
It was Slutty Nurse Does Anal or something like that. In fact, I could tell you exactly what it was. It was Slutty French Nurse Tabitha Anal Fuck.
Wow.
And for a minute I was thinking, shall we leave that on the background for comic effect?
Might have impregnated the audience. So
Yeah.
they didn't
And also probably wouldn't be that funny.
die out after about 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah. So what was your number 3?
3.
Sure.
Yeah.
As you know, my favourite band is Coldplay. No, it's not Coldplay.
Can't play.
They Might Be Giants.
Yeah. I was going to say They Might Be Giants.
And they...
They Might Be Giants. Yes.
Oh, well done. Come on, high five. Nice one.
Elbows.
Yeah, elbows. Do it again. That's... Oh, we can give out a quick tip. For people who don't know that.
LPT, Life Pro Tip.
Life pro tip. What if I can't high five people very well?
Always look at the elbows.
Thank you.
Demonstration.
Worked quite well.
Just a clean, crisp high five every time.
It was alright. You were a bit hard though. It's unnecessary.
Somewhere in rings.
But it hurt, Take the rings off, then do a high five. It's not that difficult. No, not now, it's too late. Go on then. That was a bit better. Working it. Yeah. Anyway, They Might Be Giants.
Yeah. TM BG.
Well done. Nice. You got there.
Their fans will probably want to use that.
They already do.
No.
Yeah, oh yeah.
God damn it.
Oh yeah. They've released a sort of album, but it's actually their first album played live. And this is for free on the internet. You can go to theymightbegiants.com/first album live
Yeah.
and then give them your email address and they email you a link and you can download it.
It's just them playing live.
Yeah, but it's them playing live in 2014, the album that they released in 1987. So it's
That's clever.
a cool little
So it's their first album played
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And it's pretty good.
Is it better than their first album?
Marginally, because
More honed.
they actually have a full band now. Because they used to just be John Linnell on accordion,
Yeah.
and then John Flansburgh on guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'd have a tape with drums on it.
A tape with drums. They didn't even have a drummer called John.
No. Well, there's a brilliant track on this album. It's probably the second best track on this album of about 16 tracks, called Rhythm Section Want Ad, and that is probably. Hang on a second. I have notes here saved, but forgot to open them before the show. So
I'll just do a little bit of comedy.
that's all right. I've
Why are you
already opened
doing
it
that?
now. No, you don't have to.
Oh,
I've already
so,
opened it.
how about that airplane food? Am I right? Oh, that is bad.
Yeah, play.
Sometimes it's nice. Depends on
Yeah, often it's
how much you pay for it. Take your own sandwiches.
where you're seated.
Yeah.
Depends on that. Yeah, packed lunch.
I once had halal food on a plane. PC world gone mad. Am
Yeah.
I right? Oh,
Oh, I don't want to eat that.
Lovely,
Kosher,
though.
I don't
It's
think so.
lovely.
Oh, was it?
yeah, it was really nice.
Oh, good. Was
Chicken.
it vegan? No.
Not vegan.
Anyway, I've written down some highlights. Only, I planned to write down loads of highlights, and I only wrote 2, and then I went and did something else. But anyway,
Probably just listen to the album.
I did. Yeah, it was really good. Rhythm Section Want Ad. That's a good song. That's like the last song on the album, and it's about how people are always like, "Oh, why don't you hire a drummer?
Yeah.
What are you, some sort of Rhythm Section Want Ad?" And they say, "Oh, that's pithy. I'm going to put that
That's
in
clever.
as the title of my songs."
I'm going to
So
note
they
that
did.
down.
Yeah,
Sticky notes right up.
yeah. Well, they didn't have Windows 7 back then. In '87,
What did they do then?
pen and paper. Probably with a pencil or with a rubber on the end. So if they go wrong,
Rub it out.
if they accidentally put Rhythm Section Want Ab,
They could go, oh, rub it
and
out.
put ad again.
And then do the D.
Yeah, they do the D. That's got some brilliant lyrics in it though. Rhythm Section Want Ad. It has. I'm gonna have to try and remember this off the top of my head because I didn't write it down. Or
Just lie.
I could find it and play it.
What I do on
Hopefully we won't
podcasts
get-
if I don't know something is I lie
Oh yeah.
and just tell lies and deceive people.
What is the capital
Yeah.
of England?
London. Know that one, so you don't have to lie.
Oh, that's good. How many boroughs are in London?
17,
Really?
maybe.
Oh, was that a lie?
Well, who knows?
That's really good.
I don't want to give away all my lies.
Here we go. Found it. This is free, so it's alright. That was one of the best lyrics ever there.
Best lyrics ever.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement.
There's a place for those who love their poetry. It's just across from the room that says prose only. As in prose, like writing isn't poetry, but also professionals. Brilliant.
That is clever,
And
right?
there's a good one later on as well, which is laugh hard, it's a long way to the bank. Which everyone thinks is a Modest Mouse lyric, but they sing it first.
Is it
So,
true?
yeah. High five. Elbows.
How commercially successful are They Might Be Giants? Because they've been around since 87.
TMBG.
Yeah.
Fairly, but they just never stop making and performing music. So they just work.
Constantly on the road.
Yeah. And they also release a new album like every 2 years and have been for the
That's
past
mental.
30 odd years. It's crazy.
I think I'll just give up.
Yeah, well, you're not John or John.
Like, there's some great humour in this guy.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
But over the next
30
3
years
years.
of it.
Yeah.
I think I'll be flogging a bit of a dead horse in 30 years' time.
Sorry, I just burped while you were
No, it's
talking.
fine. It's fine.
Sorry.
Rude and inconsiderate. And
Well, I
downright
did apologise.
disgusting.
So
But,
let's
oh,
turn
if we
this
can
off.
just apologise for all our actions, that's fine then. Oh, sorry. Kicked your wife to death, sorry. Get over yourself.
Turn it off. Another
fucking
highlight
pig.
from me. Probably one of my favourite TMPG songs of all time is She's an Angel, which is brilliant because it's played, Matt, in 4/4 timing,
Yeah.
but the pattern of chords is only 3 chords long.
Well, how do
So-
they do it in 4/4?
Well, they play like, it goes, I think it goes A, B, E,
Yeah.
A, and then the next pattern is B, E, A, B,
B.
and then, oh, brilliant.
That's
So
clever.
catchy. I'm going to play a bit of it. Wrong song. Fast forward a bit.
B-E-A B again.
And then back to E. What a fucking array in there. Oh, brilliant.
That's some good chord work.
Gonna leave this on for a
Do
bit.
they tour?
They do.
But do they just tour America?
No. For the world. The globe. I think what they've done is they've thought, oh, those TFC guys, when they tour the whole planet,
Yeah.
that
So
sounds like something we should do. And they've just copied us.
that, yeah.
My other highlight that I've got here is the track Toddler Highway, which is sung by the Avatars of They, which is these puppets that they made back when they did kids albums in the mid 2000s. And they sort of complain about them. It's actually them controlling the puppets.
What?
Yeah, but they say things like, "Oh, we don't like their later work, and they're sellouts, and fuck them." And
They
stuff
say
like that.
F words.
Yeah, oh yeah, they drop an F-bomb. And it also starts off with a really, really famous song that isn't a Them Might Be Giant song, but I can't remember what it is. Yeah, what is that? It's Black Sabbath, isn't it?
Yeah.
There will be no compromising with
It's the puppets.
the Avatars of They show. It's a different kind of show. Different kind of show. Ladies and gentlemen, we were checking out their first album. We liked it. It was good. It was good. You know. Remind me of
Woo!
I forget.
TMBG. TFC.
Remind me of that other band. I forget what they were.
We should just tour and shout out
Yeah.
anything that's being recorded ever. We should go to live recordings
Yeah.
of albums and just shout out plugs for ourselves. TLDR, the Internet Digest.
I can remember only about a year ago when I suggested to you that we should. It might have been 2 years ago, back in the Fireside Chronicles days, which is where TFC comes from, by the way.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Bit of secret knowledge there.
Took us about 20 minutes to decide on that name.
Yeah.
Sitting around.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Near a fireplace. But it's off. Well,
Well,
we're also not really near it, just in the same room.
the same room as
Yeah.
it. It's not even a real fire, it's gas. It's
Yeah.
like-
But I remember suggesting that we should go to like restaurants and places and just loudly talk about TFC.
It's
You
all
heard
right,
of
great
TLDR,
podcast.
the Internet Digest? Well, yes, I have unsubscribed.
Instead of leaving tips, just leave little links to things.
Yeah, that is a tip. It's a life pro tip.
This will save you a few dollars in the long run.
Yeah,
I can give you $3 an hour. I can give you a bit of advice. It'll see you down the road.
Yeah, go to tfcpodcast.com.
Consume all.
Is it just podcasts? No, the other week they broke a news story. That's the only news story they've ever done.
Never done.
But about 8 people gobbled that up.
I loved it.
Yeah. So anyway, if you want to download that, it's free.
I might do. Send me the link.
Well, you don't have to. I'll just give it to you.
Oh, okay, do that.
What I'll
Saves
do
me
is
time.
I'll torrent it instead. Because I hate They Might Be that much.
No, I won't take the free thing from you.
Yeah.
I'll take it from elsewhere.
Yeah.
That will stick it to you.
It's really good.
Knobheads. Is it better or worse than Flood?
Oh.
The one They Might Be Giants album, I know.
Now, Flood is a brilliant album. But
I have it on cassette.
do you? Oh. The problem is that I'm such a goddamn super fan.
Yeah.
That I always say that the original album, self-titled one, I always say that's my favourite. I also always say Lincoln is my favourite, and Flood, and Apollo 18, and John Henry, and sometimes Mick Carr.
Yeah.
And then the other, hang on, how many have I got here? I'm not sure how many albums they've released, I'm going to find out.
I'm going to guess. Let's take a guess. Both take a guess. I'm going to say 24.
24?
Yeah.
To make sure.
Yeah.
That rhymes. My guess is going to be 3.
Who's going to be
Even though I
closest?
just listed more than 3. Discography. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Oh, so we were both massively wrong.
Yeah. You even more so, really.
Well.
No, wait. Far less so. They did the theme song to Malcolm in the Middle as well.
Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. That was a great, great show.
It's brilliant. Oof.
Before Bryan Cranston was Walter White.
Got into meth, didn't he? Which is quite sad.
None of them really did anything else.
Yeah, Frankie Muniz.
He became a NASCAR racer.
And a drummer as well.
Yeah, I imagine for a very
Actually a
terrible
drummer.
band. Yeah, a drummer, profesh.
Yep. Do you want to hear some of my beats?
Yes, please.
Have you heard of Ginger Baker?
Yes.
Well,
Watched a great documentary about him.
so what I do is I put this tom upside down.
Yeah.
Because I just find
Then
that
just whack it.
rim. That's called a rim. So, tell a joke. Come on.
I went to the
Mr. Funny.
doctor.
Yeah.
I
Like you. Why can't you tell a joke to kleptomaniacs?
don't know.
They're always taking things literally. Like you. Why don't you pick another number between 1 and 4 that isn't 3?
1.
Oh, here's a good one. This is from Listverse.com.
Yes. I like Listverse.com.
Are you a big Listverse fan?
I love lists. They seem ridiculously popular on the internet. at the
Yeah,
minute.
they are,
People
yeah.
like receiving information in list form for reasons I'm not quite sure.
What's your
of.
favourite film?
What is my favourite film? Pulp Fiction.
Is it not Schindler's List?
It's not.
Alright. That would
That
have
would have been better.
That would have been really good.
That would have been better.
Yeah, yeah. How do you feel about forgotten advanced civilizations?
Oh, I've forgotten about most of them, so
Hello.
doesn't often crop into my mind.
Good one. Yeah, good idea. Drink.
I've got a sort of weird headache from this drink. Mixed in with the caffeine, I
It's
think.
really sweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, 10 mysteries that hint at forgotten advanced civilizations.
Ooh.
Hello.
Bit of X-Files, this kind of shit. Mulder and Scully.
That was the X-Files thing. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, it was.
thank you.
Very
Don't want to
creepy.
whistle it too
Very
well, though.
creepy.
X-Files is actually not that creepy.
The theme tune was really creepy.
The theme tune was, yeah. I was always scared of it when I was
You as a kid,
child.
yeah.
But then I started watching it about 6 months ago.
I can't
It's
really
just
watch
quite
it
good.
because I used to watch Californication,
Ah, well.
and David Duchovny is
Mulder.
the main character in that, and he just fucks people and is a bad person. And now when I watch X-Files, I'm like, I've also seen a film with Scully where Danny Dyer fucks her on the road.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
What film is that? Danny Dyer.
Danny Dyer and her.
What?
The
My
film
cousin.
was very bad.
My cousin is named after Scully.
Really?
Yeah, Dana.
Ooh, there you go. Little fact.
Got a factoid for you.
Little shout out as well.
Shout out to Dana and Dana Scully.
Yes.
And also, what's the actress's name?
Gillian Anderson.
Gillian Anderson. Jill, if you're listening.
And Danny
Can I
Dyer.
come on the show? No. You can't, actually.
We don't take guests.
Yeah. Listverse.com. 10 mysteries that hint at forgotten advanced civilizations.
Coming in at 10.
Coming in at number 10. Ancient devices. Now,
Blenders.
that sort of thing, but not blenders.
But
no.
not blenders, okay.
No blenders.
Portable radios. Shower radios, ones that are waterproof that you can put in the shower.
No.
Well, I've given 2 here and you said to both of them, so I'm not...
that is right, yeah.
Okay. Last guess. Biros.
No, not really a device. It's a...
Device for writing.
It is, no, you're right. It is.
Thank you.
You do write with it. Hey! It's more things like batteries and planispheres.
They didn't have batteries.
Well, you say that.
I
but-
do.
Right. Have you heard of the Baghdad battery?
No. Did you know you can charge your phone with a potato?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
That's basically the same thing.
Sort of. This is the Baghdad battery is like an artifact. This isn't even on the list.
Bloody
I'm
hell.
outdoing Listverse. I'm doing my own Wikipedia research here.
Fuck you, Listverse.
Yeah, you.
I hate you and I hate everything you stand for.
All right. I mean,
Not really, I like it.
calm
Keep it.
down. The Baghdad battery. Do you want this in my own words?
Yes, please.
Right, the Baghdad battery, sometimes referred to as the Parthian battery, is the common name for a number of artifacts created in Mesopotamia during the dynasties of Parthian or Sassanid or Persian Empire period, which is roughly 250 BCE to CE 250, and probably discovered in 1936 in the village of Kuyut Rabu'a near Baghdad, Iraq. These artefacts came to wider attention in 1938 when Wilhelm Koenig, the German director of the National Museum of Iraq, found the objects in the museum's collection.
Brill.
In 1940, Koenig published a paper speculating that they may have been galvanic cells, perhaps used for electroplating gold onto silver objects.
How does it work?
Well, this is the thing. People say, oh, it's a battery. But then I did my research,
As you always do for TLDR.
as I always do for TLDR, and I found this little bullet point of 4 really quite good reasons given by historians why it's probably not a battery.
Mm-hmm.
I can read them out and shatter your dreams.
Yeah, go on then.
All right. Number 1, the bitumen.
Yeah.
You know what bitumen is, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. So do I.
Yeah.
It completely covers the copper cylinder, electrically insulating it, so no current can be drawn without modifying the design. Number 2, there are no wires or conductors with them. Number 3, no electrical equipment is associated with them. Number 4, a bitumen seal, being thermoplastic, is excellent for forming a hermetic seal for long-term storage. It would be extremely inconvenient, however, for a galvanic cell, which would require frequent topping up of the electrolyte if they were intended for extended use.
So what is this?
Well, it might just be a little
Box.
box.
With some...
Or a little rod.
So they just dug up a bit of rod.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, that's probably a battery, probably a battery.
That seems like the thing for most items on this list. Is that, well, not
People have just
most of them, but
Jump to crazy conclusions.
the thing about Listverse is that every one of them is 10. It's always top 10 lists.
Mm.
And I always think, like, what if there weren't 9
Yeah.
rock stars who cut off their own balls? I mean, what if there were 9 but not 10? Then you just couldn't make the list out of it. You'd have to make one extra up. So I think this ancient devices one is stretching a bit. But they do also list Antikythera. The Antikythera mechanism, which is that really old computer they found that the ancient Greeks used, which was in 200 BC, and it was used to calculate the movements of the sun, moon and planets to predict celestial events. I say computer, it's like a mechanical thing.
Yeah.
But it's still far more
Like a
complicated
cog.
than anything I could ever make.
Cog-based system.
Cog-based system, CBS.
What? Anything really is better than anything I could do.
Matthew Wright, 2014.
I mean, looking back on anything from history, literally anything of any note,
Yeah.
I always think, oh, I couldn't fucking do that.
Well, that's a good point, really, because people always talk about this possibility of maybe there were civilizations that have long been forgotten that were more advanced than our own. And I always think, well, maybe some of the civilizations that we do know about, maybe they weren't necessarily more advanced than our own, but they still had things in them that are more advanced than me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, there are all sorts of shit that they figured out that I
Well,
couldn't.
think about the architecture that goes into making, like, the pyramids.
Yeah.
That it is completely...
Well, yeah, I can see the gesture you're doing there, and I think you look at a
Symmetrical.
triangular. Oh, right, symmetrical, yeah.
all angles.
All angles. It's a lot of angles. Make up that
It's
percentage.
like, I couldn't do that with Lego. I'll just go, oh, fuck this, and kick it over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there'll be bits of Lego around the floor for weeks.
We've got Egypt here. That's at number 2, though, so you're going to have to wait.
I will wait.
I think what I'll do is I'll just go through this list.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about it, or just have a wank.
Both.
We'll pause the podcast. Quickly have a wank. Number 9, the Rama Empire. But I googled Rama Empire and
Got
literally
nothing
couldn't
at
find
all.
anything, so I don't know what that is.
Google whack that came out as.
Yeah.
But
But
Google whacking. Hello, 2004.
Google whacking. What was his name again?
Dave Gorman.
Dave Gorman. I used to listen to his radio show.
I have actually got some official Google whacks on the Google whack website.
Oh, come on!
What's that? You want an example? More pork zucchini. That was one of my first ones.
Yeah, the funny thing is, you told me about that before, I remember.
Yeah.
When we were about 11. Yeah, this is... People used to think that the Indian civilization dated to about 500 BC, but there are now cities found in the Indus Valley, like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro, which predate it by like thousands of years. And they're also constructed so perfectly that they think that they were completely planned out before they were even built.
Like
So-
blueprints.
Yeah, so that tells you that thousands of years before we even thought people had made structures in India, they
They've
like
been-
planned out cities and built cities, which is pretty crazy. Number 8 is the Longyu Caves, which is this system of caves in China. Not normal caves though, artificial caves made by people
Yeah.
Dating between 500 and 800 BC, but no historical record or evidence of the work involved to excavate the almost million cubic metres of stone exists.
But we have things like that now. We have people who, instead of living in caves, build caves. They live in like sewers, tunnels.
That's true.
I watched a documentary about Romanian people.
Oh yeah.
Who literally live below the city of Budapest.
Yeah, I've heard of that sort of stuff before.
And it's mental, and they're all addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
And there's this like Pied Piper figure, who he's covered in badges. He wears a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Just covered in like badges, like a punk rocker.
Yeah, like me.
And like he just.
Is that what you thought when you saw him?
I thought that looks
Is
like
that Phil?
He just like takes in all the orphan children, and he takes them down the sewers.
Again, like me.
And he has like hotel rooms where homeless people can stay.
Yeah.
And they all do drugs and stuff, but he doesn't allow the kids to inject. He just lets them breathe paint.
Only lets them breathe paint.
It was weirdly fascinating.
What a conservative.
Talking of China as well, I watched a documentary about the walled city, Kowloon, the walled city.
Oh yeah.
And it was in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
and it was when Mao took over. All the immigrants that just wandered into Hong Kong,
Yeah.
they basically just whacked up in this walled city.
Yeah.
And it started out, I don't know how wide it is, but it basically went 14 stories up. They built up and up and up. And it had 1.2 million people in it. In its 14
Christ.
stories. And it was like 13, 14, 15 times more densely populated than Manhattan is today.
In
like literally the
the
space.
building.
Yeah, like just a big building, like
That's
a warehouse.
crazy.
And they eventually knocked it down. But it had one water pipe. But
What?
because Chinese like immigrants at the time couldn't work in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
it was full of like really highly trained professionals. So there was doctors, dentists, pharmacists,
That's
and it was
so
like
weird.
it was literally a city within four walls.
Yeah.
But there was also like prostitutes and opium dens and
Did
gangs
they have
and-
like city-like things like bakeries?
Yeah, they had shops and
What?
like literally everything. It's
never
really
knew that.
fascinating. It's really fascinating.
That's crazy.
And they like people live there for like 30 years, like their entire lives.
That's so
Absolutely
bizarre.
mental. And
Did
there's
they like go outside?
I suppose you could do, but like you need nothing. You need is outside.
China anyway. Smog.
And so, you like a family would live in a room probably half the size of this studio.
Oh, that's big though. Still, this is a big studio.
Right,
Because we
studio
splashed the
big.
cash in it.
Studio
TLC
big for a
cows.
reason. Studio big,
Studio big, yeah.
but it became such a big, like almost cultural phenomenon
Yeah.
that they built a attraction of it in Tokyo, like a replica.
Yeah.
And this documentary took a person who lived there
Yeah.
to the replica in Tokyo, and he was like, "This is fucking spot on."
Really?
He was like, on my website, there's a picture of near my house, there was a bit of graffiti on the wall, and he went to like the amusement and was like, "Look, it's the graffiti," and it was absolutely
What?
identical.
That's crazy.
It's so interesting, and they just knocked it down.
China do a lot of identically copying things though. Like a lot often to do with like companies. Like they have fake Apple stores that are just called Apple.
Really?
Like they look exactly the same, but they're not
Right.
anything to do with Apple. That's just part of the culture or something, I don't know. Stupid Chinese people. Here's another TLDR for you. Another internet gem over the past week or two, which is, you know, the Joe Rogan podcast.
I've heard of it.
Ari Shafir was on it, and he talks about China because he
Saved that.
had a trip to China, 4.5 hours long, that podcast. So,
Yeah. Saved it for a flight.
yeah. But he talks about China and he says all sorts of crazy shit. Like, have you heard of, can't remember what they call it now, but they, you know, cooking oil, you familiar with that, yeah? Well, because it's in such high demand, there's this trend where they get sewage and then distill it into cooking oil.
Wow.
So it's like human shit, and they use it as cooking oil. And something like 10% of all the oil over there is that.
That's fascinating.
But it's illegal, and they're trying to like rule it out.
But does it work?
Yeah, but it gives you like horrible diseases.
Well, then it doesn't work.
Well, no, it works. You're cooking it.
China's a fascinating place. I like
Yeah.
it. It's
Listen
mental.
to that podcast. It's
Yeah,
good.
I've got it saved. Kowloon Walled City documentary. Check it out, people.
Anyway, number 7 on this list is Nan Madol, which is
Tramadol. Yeah.
Tramadol,
Painkiller.
yeah, which is an ancient city in Micronesia, and it's built on top of coral reef, exclusively out of basalt, which is like volcanic rocks, I think. Some of these basalt rocks weigh up to 50 tons, And then compare that to the pyramids.
This is the thing.
Pyramid stones only weigh about 3 tons each.
Oh, only weigh 3 tons.
Yeah, and people get baffled over that. And this was built in 200 BC.
How do you move 50 tons of rock
Well, exactly.
without machine? It's fucking... I wouldn't have a clue where to start now.
There's an even crazier one in a minute. Hang on a second. Number 6, Stone Age tunnels. This one's not all that interesting. There are really long tunnels under loads of places in Europe from like 12,000 years ago, which is quite impressive.
That is very cool.
Yeah. And the longest one is 2,300 feet or 700 metres in Bavaria.
Jesus.
Yeah. But the idea is that the fact that they've been preserved for 12,000 years means that they must have known what they were doing, building tunnels. It's also, it says here, experts believe people use these tunnels to travel safely regardless of which danger they were facing, which just puts it into perspective how long ago. It was so long ago that the surface of the planet Earth was really dangerous.
Just awfully dangerous.
Yeah, which isn't the case anymore. Number 5, Pumapunku, which is one of 4 structural arrangements in the pre-Inca city of Tiwanaku, in South America. I hope I've not offended any ancient pre-Inca people by pronouncing that wrongly. The consensus is that these are like older than the pyramids. Some people say that they're 15,000 years old.
15,000 years.
But because they've been like prodded and poked so much, they've been contaminated in every possible way. So it's really difficult to tell.
That's not good.
Yeah. But the interesting thing is that they are cut unbelievably precisely. Which means that they would have had like an insane knowledge of stone cutting and geometry and stuff like that.
I
There's
can't
perfect
cut
right
bread.
angles and stuff. No.
I can't cut a bagel equally in half.
No, I can't either.
Every
No.
single time
It's
I
so
fuck it up,
difficult, yeah.
And then it doesn't go in the bloody toaster.
yeah.
Then I have to squash it, and it's just a fucking nightmare.
Whenever I try and slice cheese, always get a wedge shape.
And then a really, really thin bit,
Yeah, what the fuck?
and it just crumbles off. And
Yeah.
like, this is a waste of time.
Why don't they sell pre-sliced cheese? Like they do pre-sliced bread.
Well, they do.
There you go. Another little idea that started on TFC and then made it big.
Just blew up.
That's what we like.
overnight, almost.
Number 4, I find this one quite boring, really. They found loads of moulds of metal clamps, which suggests that people knew how to make high enough temperatures to smelt metal earlier than what we thought they did. Whatever. Number 3,
It's smelting for decades.
yeah, I can smelt.
But it's been going on,
Decades, yeah, literally
It's
decades.
been going on for ages, those smelting.
Since like the 20s.
It's been going on a long time.
Yeah, that one's not that interesting to me. I don't know. I'm not a historian. Number 3, this one's crazy though. The ball bag enigma.
Oh, I have that. Is that a disease?
Baalbek.
Oh, no, I don't have that.
Ball bag. It's not really ball bag, but
I have a different ball bag enigma.
yeah. What's your ball bag enigma?
So much sperm.
Yeah, too much high quality sperm,
It's
high
leaking.
grade.
It's leaking out all the time.
Well, that shouldn't be happening.
I wear a little tube on the end of my bellend just to catch all the sperms, and then I just sell them or give them to strangers in the street.
That's horrible. It's making me feel a bit ill.
Just a little sperm wiggles out like a dead fish. Just flaps about.
Just flaps
and then-
around, yeah.
And I have to often take the tube out and just beat it over the head.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it do?
Just gasping for air. It's just gasping.
Yeah.
I'm like, die, sperm, die.
How big are your sperm?
About
Mine are
4 foot.
microscopic. What? That's huge.
Give or take.
That's bigger than average.
Yeah, for my height and weight.
Yeah. Jesus. Have that looked at.
No.
Anyway, the Baalbek enigma. This is one of the most well-preserved Roman ruins in the world. And this is like a big series of pillars and shit, basically. But this is the interesting part. I'm going to read a bit from the Listverse.com. Given the site's location and the space available to manoeuvre, architects and engineers claim that we have no known lifting technologies available to us today that can lift and position these stones. They are simply beyond the construction capabilities of any accepted ancient or modern day builders. So this was... when was this?
Roman times.
The site goes back about 9,000 years, as excavations have revealed Middle Bronze Age and Early Bronze Age evidence on top of one another.
Slavery.
Yeah, but
That's
even...
what it is, isn't it? Slavery.
Well, you say that, but even with slaves, we just don't have the know-how to lift these 12,000 ton slabs and pillars.
Yeah, you need a lot of slaves
Yeah,
to
yeah.
lift that. You couldn't have one on each corner.
It's also on top of like a hill. So you'd have to lift them up this hill.
Yeah.
How the fuck did they do that? Performance enhancing drugs, probably.
Yeah.
Modafinil.
How do they do? What is the... Is there literally a... Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, no one knows. Well, according to Listverse.com, I don't know how well respected this
How...
is in the academia.
What is the arguments for any of this kind of building? Like not only the structure, but the lifting, the precision of anything, be it pyramids, Inca worship, mountains, this shit.
Well, this is the interesting thing, really, because at some point all that's left to do is just to concede, okay, maybe this ancient civilization knew more than we did about this, which is such a foreign idea to people, because everyone thinks of ancient civilizations as being really quite barbaric and Neanderthal-y, not literally, but just stupid compared to us. But there's some evidence that maybe they weren't, and this is the fact that they can lift 12,000 ton slabs and we can't is a good piece of evidence. Also, number 2, this is probably one you might have heard of, the Giza Plateau in Egypt. I'm going to read this quote. As it has been proven that the Sphinx's erosion came mainly from rainfall before the area became a desert, it is at least 7,000 to 9,000 years old, with some believing that it could be even older than that, which is loads older than people thought the Egyptian Empire was.
Is it still accredited to the Egyptians or something predating them?
Well, it says here, the sudden rise of the Egyptian civilization in the 3rd millennium BC has led many experts to believe that theirs was a legacy of an earlier forgotten civilization. So, have you ever heard of Magical Egypt? No. It's a documentary series by a guy called John Anthony West. Joe Rogan always goes on about it.
I've probably heard it there.
Yeah, probably. But I watched it on YouTube and it's like really badly produced, which means it loses points from me. But it's quite interesting though, and it talks about basically this whole theme. And his sort of the thing that he puts forward is this idea that the Egyptian civilization was like thousands and thousands of years older than anyone thought it was, because they have like lists of kings and pharaohs and shit what they've had, but the Egyptologists all say that all of the names before a certain point were just made up to make it seem like they had a really long storied history when they really didn't. But then John Anthony West and other people are saying that they weren't made up, they were real, which would be crazy because that would mean that this is like a really old civilization and
we know nothing of the vast majority of it.
And our civilization, I suppose, if you consider like European civilization in general, how old is that? Like a few thousand years old?
Well, we were all one continent for years.
Yeah, that was way before though. That was ages ago.
When was that? Like 10,000, 20,000, a million years ago.
Yeah.
Like Earth history is.
I know what it was. I just won't tell you.
Okay.
Let's find out.
What's it called?
Pangaea.
Pangaea. There we go.
Which is a place in Manchester.
But this is that whole argument.
300 million years ago.
300 million years.
Little bit.
This is that whole argument that you could go into a tribe in the rainforest with all the weaponry and all the whatever we have known to man, and we won't catch as much fish, as much wild boar as like a tribe, because you just know what to do. They know the shit.
Yeah.
We can have guns and bombs and whatever you want.
Yeah.
We'll catch shit all.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to concede that maybe people knew what they were doing back then more than we do. And also, we know how to build skyscrapers.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And we also know how to manipulate electricity. That's one of our big ones. And we have the internet and all that. But it depends what you qualify as being advanced. Because you can have someone who's a society that's technologically advanced, but culturally really not very advanced. Mm-hmm. And I think that's our society. I don't think we're very culturally advanced. Because, gay marriage is illegal.
Yeah. Well, America's the prime example for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the world's superpower, but also a bit backward.
Yeah, in a lot of areas. I don't think most American people are. I'm saying that purely to placate our American listeners.
It's just...
I'm just lying.
It's a stereotype,
I actually hate all foreigners.
It's a stereotype that the sort of deep south are all terrible, Bible-bashing
Yeah.
homophobes. And they're probably not, but some of them are.
But then, if you imagine going back to like ancient Egypt or something like that, do you think they had those parallels as well? Do you think they had people who were like, well, I think that everyone with, green eyes should be killed.
Yeah, there'll always be eccentrics and wacky thinkers and people outside the box. And for good and for bad. Because you had to have that first person to go, well, maybe the world isn't round.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everyone go, ha ha ha, what a crazy, wacky bastard. And then everyone went, oh, actually, he's spot on.
Yeah, we've just been all the way around and we're back here.
Yeah. So there's always going to be people who go against the norms of society, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Be that good, bad, indifferent.
But the difference is, though, that here you get into a point where having these really backwards opinions becomes where it almost is a norm. It's not just like wacky, crazy people. It's like there are certain areas, there are certain towns and villages and stuff where that is the norm.
And that's the weird part of it.
Yeah.
That norms change very, very quickly by like land, if that makes sense. Like
yeah.
town to town, city
Different
to
regions.
city.
But I think that if you go to like ancient Egypt, for example,
On
I
holiday.
think, well, yeah, if you have like a DeLorean
Yeah.
and you're willing to break the speed limit, then you go to
Well,
ancient
I'm not.
Egypt.
I do have a DeLorean.
Yeah, don't.
But I hate
wouldn't risk
breaking
the
the speed
ticket.
limit.
No.
60 quid, don't think so.
Yeah, not for me. But if you did go to ancient Egypt, I think that spirituality was such a big part. That's something that we lack enormously. Any modicum of spirituality, there's none of that in the West.
Yeah, there's very little.
And it's like a taboo as well.
And
People
not
don't
only
wanna
is
talk about
there
it.
none of it, we frown upon
Yeah, exactly,
people
yeah.
who A, have any interest in it, or societies that are very, very based in it.
Yeah, we think of that as being really sort of
Backwards.
and
There seems to be a sort of collective opinion that the sort of spiritual age or spirituality has gone.
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
need that anymore because we're technologically advanced, etc., etc. But I don't agree with that.
no, I don't either.
Well, I don't think I'm an overly spiritual person at all, really. But
It's like I was thinking about meditation recently, and I was thinking,
works.
yeah. Well, I meditate like fairly regularly, but when you say that, people always think, oh, you're showing off or whatever. But I was thinking of a parallel, which I think is really good. Imagine if we had a culture, right, where for whatever reason masturbation had just fallen out of favour.
Yeah.
People just don't masturbate anymore.
Can't imagine it.
It's not just imagine it. Put yourself in there.
No, thank you.
And like, it's not as though people are against masturbation or that it's a taboo or anything. It's just something people don't do anymore for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's just died out. And then imagine you've got a few people who say, "Yeah, I actually masturbate. It's good for the soul. It's spiritually connects you to a higher power, and it's actually conducive to my lifestyle anyway because I'm really deep and a spiritual person. So when I get into the masturbative state, it really connects me to who I really am deep down. And, I do the practice for 10 minutes every day, and it's very easy. All you need to do is the first 5 minutes of the practice, just work the shaft,
Yeah.
and then onto the balls.
This is great. This is great stuff. Can I
neg-
get an audio clip
Don't
of
neglect
just
the
this
pace.
moment?
Yeah.
I'll just play this while I'm masturbating.
Exactly, yeah. I actually do a series of guided masturbation tapes where I'll talk you through base work, shaft work, ball and tip work, and then on side B of the tape is 1 to 4 fingers in the anus. So, and then when you reach climax, you just gently open the eyes and return to the real world. And that's the way people talk about meditation, whereas if you go back to like
Yeah.
a society where it was normal and everyday practice, people wouldn't have thought of it as this crazy thing that's like a special state you enter, and people wouldn't say, oh yeah, I tried it once but I couldn't quite get there.
Well, that's the thing about meditation is if you say meditation, you immediately think sitting on a wicker mat on the floor, Buddha-legged, omming about.
Yeah.
And that's not really... Like, yeah, of course, you can do that and you can put on your spiritual healing tapes. And I've got these Thai bowls and we spin them round. And
Yeah. Just like when
it's the sound that you...
when I masturbate, I watch quite weird, usually illegal porn, but you don't have to. You don't have to go that far into
you
it.
can do it as much as you like.
Yeah.
But you can just do it sitting about.
Yeah, yeah.
Just on the bus.
Yeah, you can. And it's
Really,
like,
getting lost in a daydream is basically meditating.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's
You're
just
just
like,
losing yourself in your own mind.
yeah, you're just sort of meditating.
Yeah.
It's just an activity. That's what it is. It's like, have you heard of Alan Watts?
Yes, but no.
He was like, he's dead now, so irrelevant.
Boring.
Yeah. But he did loads of lectures and wrote loads of books around the 60s and stuff. And he was a guy who was from London. And he had a really great posh accent. But he like went to live in like Japan for a while and stuff like that and studied loads of Eastern religions. And he came back and lectured about Eastern religions like Buddhism and Zen and stuff like that. In a very sort of no-nonsense way.
Yeah.
And I read one of his books called The Book on the Taboo Against Knowing Who You Are, which is a great book, by the way. Get that.
On Amazon.
Save it on your Goodreads profile.
Oh.
Save it to your wish list. Rate it 4.5 out of 5. And in that, he compares meditation to listening to music. And he says, you wouldn't listen to music to gain culture, or you wouldn't listen to music to say that you've listened to music, or you wouldn't do it.
But people do, though, don't they?
Well, yeah, people do, but you
shouldn't.
wouldn't. Yeah. Unless you're a twat, you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So, like, why would you meditate in order to sound like you're cultured, or in order to gain anything? You just do it, just for the fun of it or whatever.
Well,
It's something to do.
I watched a documentary the other day. It's called Kumare.
Yeah.
It's about a sort of lapsed Hindu.
Yeah.
Who he did a documentary before where he went and spoke to like mystical gurus and stuff in India and in America.
Yeah.
And he was like, they're all a bit phony. And so he became a guru. He just grew out his beard and his hair.
Yeah.
And wore robes. And people like flocked to him. It was like, oh, his energy is so crazy. And his whole thing as the guru was like, you don't need me. I'm just an illusion. It is within you, etc., etc. And then he did his big unveiling at the end where he trimmed his hair, put on a suit and shaved his beard. And you know, while it was a bit...
I've heard about that.
A bit showy and a bit Hollywoody, the point works, is true, in the fact that people seek spirituality through other people.
Hindu.
Sorry.
Not Sikh. Hello. Hang on a minute.
Carry on. People like to...
That's quite late.
People like to seek spirituality through other people or through doing things and showing off. Like, oh, I'm very into my.
A lot of people want other people to think they're spiritual.
Yeah. Whereas that's just showing off.
Yeah.
Really, it's just posturing.
And I think that in ancient cultures, that would have been the same as wanting people to think that you eat.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I eat all the time. Just had some toast earlier on, so...
Well, I mean, yeah, it was just...
digest it and then shit it out again. So
I suppose it was
like,
a
what?
norm there, whereas in modern societies,
Yeah.
like Western societies, it's not a norm.
Yeah.
And so people, when they do something outside of the norm, often like to group together with people who also do that and go, oh, aren't we outside the norm?
Yeah.
Or tell other people that they're outside the norm.
And not only outside, but above.
Yeah, be like, oh, I'm just on a different level.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all about levels.
Yeah.
A lot of spirituality is about levels. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just on a higher level.
Well, I'm enlightened and you're not, so that's... I understand that you're, not enlightened, but don't bring your shit to me. It's a lot of bullshit. A lot of bullshit. And you see a lot of, like, interpretations of Hinduism and yoga and Buddhism and stuff like that are interpreted through a Western viewpoint. And so they're like, how to use mindfulness to advance in your career.
In business
and stuff like,
strategy.
yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
It doesn't really work.
Yeah.
It's just basically saying sometimes be a bit calm.
Yeah.
And then sometimes don't be a bit calm.
Grab life by the balls, as Buddha
Really
said.
step up to the plate.
Have you ever heard of The Secret?
Yeah.
That self-help book. It was released
Thingy's
in a
mum has
year.
it.
Whose mum has it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Spoilers. Not spoilers.
Because you didn't say it.
Not
Spoilers for
gonna
me. But anyway,
Not a bad
that
person.
book is it's about like the law of attraction, which is like if you think positively, then positive things will come your way.
Let's do a mood board of all the things that you want.
Yeah. Pin a photo of the house you want to live in onto your board, and then 15 years later, you'll be living there, baby. And
But it's all just... Again, this documentary, that Kumar, he went to one of those sort of law of attraction workshops as the guru.
Yeah.
And they were all doing their mood boards. And it was... But it's all just capitalists,
Well, exactly, yeah.
materialist, or what do you want? A big load of money
Yeah,
and
I
a
want
nice
things.
car. It's got absolutely nothing to do with spirituality or bettering yourself as a person or anything like that. I suppose it's arguing that you put out good and good comes back to you, but it's almost going beyond that.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good sort of argument. Possibly. I've not really thought about it. But it's the whole, if you put out good thought about something very, very specific, that very, very specific thing will come back to you.
Yeah.
And if it's any way different whatsoever, then you failed.
Yeah.
But that's not what it should be. It should be like, well, I want this very particular brand of very expensive car. If you want a better car, work harder.
Yeah, and then eventually buy a better car, and then die of heart disease.
It's not just going to come to you.
But the funny thing about all of that stuff in particular is that people often cite Buddhism when they talk about that and say like, oh well, you can use mindfulness to really get what you want and to attract things that you want. But the first, or not, maybe not the first, but one of the however many noble truths, what is it, 5 noble truths or whatever, one of them is that the root of all suffering is attachment, which is literally the direct opposite of become really attached to an idea and you'll get it.
You'll get it. Detach, not attach.
Hey man, detox.
Yeah.
From society.
Just put yourself on a higher plane.
Yeah, like me.
Go and sit in mountains and...
I actually only eat kale.
Just kale?
Yeah.
Was it you that told me the fact about Burger King and kale?
Yeah.
That's a great
fact. It wasn't me, what is it?
That, I think it was 2012, 2013, kale really took off as a big thing. But the year before, the biggest purchaser of kale in the world was Burger King. Right. And they used to put it on their decorations in their restaurants of like their salad bars. Yeah. They would just put it as like decoration. What? And it wouldn't be eaten. What? It would just be like vegetation decoration. Yeah. And then someone went, this kale's really good for you. And then everyone just starts ramming it in their mouth. But literally 3 months beforehand, Burger King were the only people that gave a shit about kale.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Not kale fact.
That's almost as crazy as number 1 on the list. Which is Göbekli Tepe.
Which is what? Did you just have a stroke?
Yeah, I did. Sorry, I meant to say Manhattan. No, Göbekli Tepe is an ancient city. It was built just at the end of the last ice age, 12,000 years ago.
Yeah, remember it well.
It's like a
came up on my
city.
time hop the other day.
Yeah, I've not really used time hop.
It's great.
What's it like? Open up time hop now. Let's see what you were doing.
It's pretty terrible.
What is it? Will it take you a while to open it?
No.
Shall I do some comedy?
It'll take me 4 seconds.
I'll do some comedy if you want.
Go on then.
Give me a topic.
Is it here now?
No, go on.
Airplane food.
Oh, you know airplane food. What is the point of putting it in like a tray? Because I prefer food in a plate, although actually a tray is... No, because it's... Yeah.
4 years ago. Nothing wakes me up like a bit of busted in yesterday's Wimbledon highlights.
You could have posted that yesterday.
2 years ago. Brendan Burns is the funniest comedian I've seen live, period.
Give me full stop. Come on.
2 years ago, this was a tweet that got favourited by Kevin Smith, whatever.
Oh.
I've heard that Kevin Smith talking about anal fissures so much that my shitting patterns have totally changed. Fissures scare me, full stop, hashtag in and out.
Is that held true now?
Yeah, that's very true.
You know what they say, don't you? 1 push, not 2 push, 3 push or 4. Let it coil naturally to prevent anal sores.
1 year ago today. Got so much time for MC Disraeli. He tore left field to shreds from start to finish. Absolute festival highlight for me. Hero. Hashtag Glasgow 2013.
The strange thing about the past is that I can think back to like when I was like 15. I remember when I was 15, remembering something from the age of 13 felt like remembering something from 10 years ago. But now, I'm 21, remembering something from the age of 19 feels like remembering something from about a week ago.
A lot has changed. I look back like 3 or 4 years ago and think, well, that wasn't that long ago, college, whatever. That doesn't seem in my mind that long ago. But then I read stuff and I actually think about the person I was. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I don't have that problem because I was just great.
Well, at the time, I thought I was great because what I have, you see, is a huge ego.
Yeah. I don't. One of my best traits is my
Complete lack of ego.
humility. Yeah.
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 Modesty, humility.
Modesty, humility. Any more adjectives you can think of that describe me just in general?
Cunhole.
What?
What?
Great. Just great.
Yeah, great. That's what I
Good
meant.
dude. Good dude. It's really cool. Cool as well.
Yeah.
Calm, collected.
Cool, a bit like the Ice Age.
I'm a cool cat. No, I'm not going back to it now.
You're not going back to
No.
it? Oh, never mind.
Blacky Teppy, suck my dicky. It doesn't really work.
But you said it now.
Snip! Edit that out.
Get rid of that. Won't be keeping that in.
Yeah. That's for our editor, Cody.
Cody Blomqvist.
Blomqvist, yeah. How do you pronounce his surname?
Blomqvist.
Blomqvist.
Yeah.
Swedish, isn't he?
Yeah. He lives in Hummelstow. After he had his leg off, he was...
Is he real?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he's my cousin.
I've never met him.
No, I have.
You
lots
two are
of
never
times.
online at the same time.
Well, we are, if one of us is on our phones.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, coming vaguely back to the point, in like 2-3 years' time,
Yeah.
when, people are playing these podcasts at our funerals.
Stadium funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want.
No, but whenever, if I ever listen
For when
to this
my
again,
funeral is on, by the way. Hello, Wembley. I've made
first Wembley-based funeral.
it. Yeah.
But I think, are the things I cringe at that I said 3 years ago, am I going to do exactly the same thing now?
Yes.
And at what point does that stop? Does it ever stop?
I was having a conversation with Thomas Wagstaff,
Yeah.
the guy we used to do the Fireside Chronicles with.
Mhm.
I was talking to him the other day. Good buddy still. We're still tight. For those TFC fans who wonder, what became of their friendship?
He's
We're
like
still
the fifth
tight.
Beatle.
Yeah. He's more into Let's Plays now than podcasts.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was talking to him and he said that back when we did the podcast, which was in 2012, he thinks that his opinions then were so crazy and made him cringe so much, and that he's so disappointed that we did it then, not now. And I said to him, I reckon that I'm going to think that when I'm like 30 years old, I'm going to listen back to me at 21 trying to make a penis joke out of Blacky Teppy, which really has very little to do with penises. And there's not a lot to work with there. Although it is average for my height and weight.
I think that's the thing that I'll look back and cringe on the most. Like, the thing I look back on now is more my grammar and stuff like that from when I was, 15, 16. I'm just swearing for the sake of swearing there.
Yeah, not really grammar.
Well, whatever.
Vocab.
And now, I think my opinions have remained quite similar
Yeah.
for the past 4 or 5 years. Slight changes, but nothing radical.
No.
I'm not suddenly like, I am now a Zoroastrian.
Yeah.
And I believe in what they believe.
I'm actually a racist now.
Yeah.
Never used to be, but...
I've decided I hate gays.
Oh, never did.
But it's...
Always did, sorry.
It's more the sort of cheap laugh humour that I
Yeah.
imagine I'll go, that's a bit poor. Occasionally pull out a bit of #gold.
Yeah. I think that in 10 years' time, I'm going to listen back to this. And I'm just going to be at...
So, I wish Matt was still alive.
yeah, that's number one. Number two, I'm just going to be such an enlightened spiritual guy that I'll be at... What?
Nothing.
That I'll be at such a higher plane of existence that I'll be completely at one with who I am and who I always was.
Guru Barry, they'll call you.
Yeah. Baz.
Baz.
Guru Baz.
Guru Baz.
What are you doing outside of India? Well, just travelling the world, broadening my horizons. I used to live here in England once upon a time. A lot has changed.
Almost 7 years ago now.
Yeah. Crikey. Didn't have robots back then. I watched RoboCop the other day.
Great film.
It was alright. No, the new RoboCop.
Oh, I've not seen it.
9.0 out of 10.0.
Good score.
Well, average. It was alright. Pick a number between... I didn't tell you the parameters, but that was within the full premise, so...
Phew, thank God.
You are on thin ice, though.
I would have
I have to
really
say.
been embarrassed if I got that wrong.
Yeah. This is from Buzzfeed. Oh, I said face. What could I be talking about?
Facebook.
No, yeah.
Is this the story about Facebook doing that weird social experiment?
Yes.
Yes, I read about this in the newspaper The Eye, but it gave me literally 3 sentences.
The Eye's weird. That independent-based
Yeah.
free newspaper.
It's because it's 30p,
Oh, it's not free. I thought it was.
No, it's not free. It used to be 20p, now it's 30p.
Yeah.
And
Cranking prices up.
it gives you sort of all the information without putting in pictures of boobs and stuff, so it makes you feel a bit more intelligent.
What I like about TLDR is that they give you only the best information, which doesn't sound like the eye does, which is quite embarrassing, really.
It doesn't at all.
So, without a laptop in front of you,
Yeah.
and without the store in front of you,
Cornell and the University of California,
that's already more than I knew.
they conducted an experiment where they changed the Facebook news feed of 700,000 people.
600,000 people.
Well,
689,000 people.
Well, then let's round that up to 700,000.
689,003, sorry.
People.
Yeah.
To gauge their reactions and how they would post depending on what's in the news feed.
Yeah.
Be it good, bad, indifferent.
Do you want me to read a quote from the study?
Yeah.
When positive expressions... Oh, hang on. I'm a bit ahead of myself. For a week, some users were shown posts on the newsfeed containing a higher number of positive words, and other people were shown posts with more negative sentiments. And this is the quote from the study. When positive expressions were reduced, people produced fewer positive posts and more negative posts. When negative expressions were reduced, the opposite pattern occurred. These results indicate that emotions expressed by others on Facebook influence our own emotions, constituting experimental evidence for a mass-scale contagion via social networks.
It's very weird.
I mean, that in itself is interesting, though.
Yeah, the idea that our emotions, or the emotions we're willing to put out on social media, are affected by other people, is interesting, but not that surprising.
Yeah, yeah.
But the fact that they'll do that unannounced is a bit creepy.
Yeah, that's really the noteworthy thing here.
It sort of makes me think that could just be used as a massive tool.
Yeah.
By anybody.
Yeah.
Just like, it's just propaganda. You could use that as propaganda so easily.
How?
Everything's great. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Like in North Korea.
You're just massively controlling people's emotions.
Yeah, that's true.
Online.
That's true, actually. That is, like, aside from the fact that they didn't ask permission of the 600,000 people, they didn't tell them that they were being, experimented upon. That is also true that now this fact is out there that, you can control people's emotions using social networks. Something that almost everyone uses, and nobody's going to ever stop using. Like, even this massive invasion of privacy, people aren't going to stop using it. I'm certainly not going to stop using it.
No, not at all.
It's just...
It's fun.
I don't know what I'd fill that time with.
What would I do when I'm having a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
Or not having a shit.
Although I recently downloaded Tetris for 69p on my phone.
Bargain.
So, thank you.
Hours of fun.
Literally hours.
But it's the whole argument that, newspapers censoring what we get from war zones, and it's the same argument, but here, on social media, which is basically the biggest newspaper we have.
Well, it's weirder, though, because it's not censoring...
It's not censoring information, but it's censoring emotion, which is almost worse.
Yeah, and also, it's not censoring the words of some anonymous... Well, not anonymous, but some journalist you've never heard of. It's censoring your friends and your family, which is a new level of weird. It's very, very invasive, really, when you think about it.
But the importance of, nationwide morale to a government or an authority is massive. Yeah. Absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And
so do you think
that tool that they now have is terrifying, if you really think about it? If you think that they did this and proved that our emotions change depending on what's on our newsfeed, then what's stopping them doing that in the future on a wider scale?
Well, I think that, the optimistic thing here is that Facebook and Twitter and whatever other social networks you can think of are privately owned. They're not owned by governments. So I don't know...
For now.
Well, yeah. Do you think they're ever going to be owned by governments, though?
Yeah.
I reckon that would just cause a massive...
I don't know enough about business to really know how that would work. But as soon as you have money to burn, like your Zuckerbergs and you become such a huge part of government and politics and money within the nation and the economy.
Well, especially if, for example, if Facebook decided to fund one of the major political parties in America, then But then it'd be Facebook who are in control rather than the government.
But I don't know who officially owns Facebook now. Zuckerberg.
Me, I do.
Somebody, did he sell it? I don't know. But
It's actually a TFC subsidiary.
Is it?
Did you not know?
Great job.
We bought
That's
it.
where all those checks have been coming from.
I was bored earlier, so I just snapped that up.
Snap that up.
That's when I bought Tetris. Same binge.
He is a billionaire now. And
Yeah.
anybody who is a billionaire
Hello.
anywhere in the world
Me.
becomes a major part of the country's economic and political standpoint.
Guilty.
So, while they're not owned by the government,
They still are a big part of the...
they're a big
Culture.
part of the culture and will be thusly influenced by the government. Which is sort of a weird, cynical way of looking at it. And, you know, it might not be true for everybody, but I'm saying when you have something like Facebook, it's not only the money side of it, it's the fact that it is everybody. 1 billion people have it, more.
Yeah. Let's find out. It says 1.28 billion worldwide active users here.
So that's a sixth, a seventh of everybody in the world.
Yeah. More than that. More
So-
than a seventh.
That's really bigger than any government, bigger than any...
Bigger than any nation. Well, how big is China?
No, I don't think it's quite that big.
So bigger than any nation, let's say.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
And so as a tool for good, bad, for indifferent, it is monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. And so
Yeah.
while we go, that's great, and we can connect with Graham, who now lives in New Zealand, and we can see all about, and little Kirsty, she went out on the surfboard for the first time the other day, and isn't that brilliant? While it is, the good is undoubtedly great, but the potential for bad, for manipulation, for whatever it
Yeah.
is also massive.
Yeah, I agree.
And while you shouldn't get caught up in the whole, well, it's going to take over and they're going to look at everything we're going to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Shouldn't obsess over it. and
they
become
probably do
pessimistic.
and will, but you can't get caught up in a what-if scenario.
Yeah.
But you have to be open to the fact that because it is such a massive, massive tool,
Yeah.
if it goes in the wrong hands, with great power comes great responsibility.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great film.
Yeah.
Also, Facebook is just bigger than India and just smaller than China. About 18% of the world's population.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There
is
you
on
fucking
Facebook.
go.
So
Mental.
imagine if Facebook caught on in the countries where it hasn't caught on as
Well,
well,
I mean, they
like
don't,
Russia.
do they have it in China?
I don't think they have it in China, no.
Well,
Well, I
there
don't
you
know,
go.
but I don't think so. Because they don't have Twitter, do they?
No, they have something else with like 200 million people on
Yeah.
it. But it's such a huge market for so many things
Yeah.
that its potential is both fabulous and daunting.
Yeah. What good could be done, though, with this, with the knowledge that you can, like, influence people's emotions? What possible good application can that have? I can't think of any.
Well, manipulation of people's emotions, full stop, is bad.
Yeah, I don't see any good application of that whatsoever.
I think it's just proving that it does do that.
I suppose the best application would be preventing it. Knowing that it's possible and working to
Stopping it.
prevent
But
it.
how are you going to ever do that?
Well, maybe preventing any attempts to use it, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think
Or-
that'll happen.
Raising awareness that it happens, but then that's almost like saying, oh, you'll feel like shit if you're around someone who's depressed all the time. That's not really information a lot of people can use.
But it's because it is so massive, and because you always have it as a tab that's open,
Yeah.
and you look at it for, an hour, 2, 5, 10, however many hours you look at it a day.
Yeah, it's all healthy.
If all the ads, all the stories, all the trending topics, everything's great and you're having a great time and everything's brilliant and the country's great and nothing bad is going wrong,
Yeah.
then even if you don't think about it subconsciously, you just go, oh, well, everything's fine.
Yeah.
On a sunny day, everyone's right on Facebook to go, weather's great, I'm having a great time in a beer garden. And great. And you do go, oh, well, it is great. Well, I might not bother going outside all day, but I still feel like the day's been great.
Because you've read.
Because
somebody
I'm like, well,
else's-
other people are having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm sort of having a good time.
Yeah, vicariously.
Yeah, I'm living through them on very, very, very small scale.
But, I mean, I prefer that, even though it's not an ideal situation, I still prefer that over, like, watching the news all day. Where if you watch the news for, like, I don't know how people watch the news. I never watch the news because I'm above it.
Yeah,
I'm a spiritual guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you can sit and watch the news for like 2 hours, because at the end of it, surely you're just like, oh well, apocalypse, the world's about to end.
I'll just kill myself now.
There was a really funny Bill Hicks joke where he was talking about
Who's
the
that?
news.
Bill what?
Bill Hicks is this underground comic. He's dead now, and you won't have heard of him.
That's a shame.
But only really intelligent, cool people like myself are fans of him. But one of his best jokes, in my opinion, bear in mind I can only remember this one and one other.
Yeah.
But still, out of those two, the better one is this one. And it's where he was talking about watching the news and watching all these political programs and stuff like that, and how the news is just like, war, 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 terror, 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 everyone's going to die, you're all going to die. And then you open the door and it's just like sunshine and meadows and daffodils. And you're like, what the, where is it all? Where is all this horror?
It's fear-mongering, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And you can really, if you're surrounded with that, I think the human brain is only really built to take in a universe that's about 8 meters in either direction.
Yeah.
So if you're surrounded in that small bubble of awareness by people saying, oh, everything's shit, then everything, which is that small bubble, is shit.
Yeah.
You can't, it's one thing to sort of think theoretically, yeah, the world is actually really massive and there are good things going on somewhere theoretically. But it's another to actually feel it. And if you're sitting in a room listening to Alex Jones tell you about how, you know,
chemtrails are coming.
Yeah, then that is your world, that is your reality, and that is the universe to you. Not the universe, but your immediate experience of the universe.
But media news especially is designed to be terrible and rubbish and make you feel shit.
Yeah, in a
Because
sense.
if it was everything's great,
Yeah.
then the things you'll question are the things the ruling government, authority, king, queen, dictator are doing.
Yeah.
And so while we can concentrate on whatever it is going on, wherever it is going on, we're not looking at what's happening literally outside. We're not going, well, our local council has cut this and that.
Yeah.
Because you just think, well, that's not really a big issue. If you had no news, or you just had good news,
Yeah.
or even, dare I say it, a bit of both,
No.
you would probably care more about the things that are actually going on your doorstep.
Yeah, but I think that's just a byproduct, personally. I don't think that's a planned thing. I don't think the government goes up to, like, Associated Press and says, right, only report on bad things because then indirectly we'll get a boost.
No, it's not. But we live in a sort of culture that likes to keep people not on their toes, but nervous.
Yeah.
Nervous of what's going to get you.
I think it's...
Not what's going to get you, but what is out there.
Yeah.
Rather than what's great out there.
I think it's...
Because that sells more.
I think that's what it is. I think it's only because it sells more. I don't think that news agencies have any interest in keeping you afraid. Or maybe a little bit, but only because it sells more. They have...
But then it's not news, it's a business.
Well, yeah.
And people need to realise that.
Yeah. There's a really good video by some chap. I wish I could remember his name.
MD.
I was going to do
Great guy on Twitter, just give him a follow.
How do I spell it?
JKHYBERMD is in Doctor of Medicine. And a little @ sign in front of that.
Yeah, I can't find this guy. But there's some philosopher who has a face that looks like it was made out of plasticine. Wish I could remember his name, but I can't. But anyway, he made a really good... He gave like a talk and he made a really good argument about the news and about how his idea of what the news should be. And he says that the news should be just a reminder of the human condition to just make you appreciate life more.
Mm-hmm.
So when they report on bad things, it should be in the vein of like...
You're lucky.
Well, just not necessarily even that, but just making you appreciate the brevity of life. Like he pointed out that people in the past, it was quite common in the past for people to keep skulls in their offices and stuff, because it just reminded them of their own mortality. And that gives you some sort of vigour and vibrancy in life. But instead, we're just bombarded 24/7. You have 24-hour news channels, which are just the equivalent of throwing skills at you,
Yeah,
which isn't really helping anyone.
You just dodge it. You sort of deflect it.
Yeah.
You don't
Or
really
you just,
face it.
it just becomes a part of your psyche
Or
and you just
overwhelms
obsess
you,
over it,
yeah.
which is pretty common because we're in this culture that's full of depression and anxiety, more so than any other culture in the history of humankind,
yeah.
I would say. And that's probably a big reason of it, because we're just... It's almost like an echo chamber, because I don't think the people who put together the news are these like, well, tonight I'm going to the news and after smelling the flowers I'm going to report on some pretty nasty stuff, but I know the world is great. I think they're also probably depressed and anxious and stressed. I don't think those people are
Well, those
outside
people
of it.
literally live the news.
Yeah, they're probably... To them, they're probably not distorting the view of the world. That probably is what the world is to those people.
Yeah.
Because if you go to like Bahrain or whatever and find the corpses of 12 dead kids and report on them, well, today it's a balmy 78 degrees and there are 4 dead children behind me. That's got to take its toll on your psyche and your being. I think those people are probably pretty down in the dumps themselves. I think the solution is just to love thy neighbour. So that's quite pithy.
Love thy neighbour.
Yeah, I'm glad I came up with that.
Yeah, get that
That rolls
tattooed.
right off the tongue. Yeah. Do you know why I said thy? Your.
Yeah.
Love your neighbour.
Love a neighbour.
Love.
Take your pick.
Not even neighbour, because that implies the people to your left and to your right.
Just pick somebody else.
Not even one person, just people.
Several.
Everyone.
Well, let's not jump the gun.
Alright, conditionally love everybody.
70% of people.
No, don't just take 70%.
Pick the 70%.
Start off with an unconditional love for everyone, and then...
No, you'll get trampled on.
Well, exactly, and then when you get trampled on, then have conditional love for everyone.
So we're building up our children to be trampled on.
Yes, first of all, and then that'll harden them, that'll harden their spirits. It's like when you break a bone, it grows back twice as strong. Yeah. So give your kids really bad advice to begin with. So,
break their spines at a very early age.
So trust everyone, love everyone, everyone's great. Go and hang out with that man over there with the moustache.
He's offering you sweets, take them.
Yeah.
Free sweets.
Look at his van, it's got a mattress in it. Hello, you love jumping on the bed at home. Go on, you little piss stain. And then they'll, whatever, that'll happen to them, and that's unfortunate. But when they come out of it, they'll be much better off for it, and then they'll have conditional love for everyone. And they'll say, right, I love everyone on the condition that they benefit me in some way.
Yeah.
I think that's what Jesus was going for.
Yeah, that's what he was teaching.
He was saying, love everyone on the condition that they benefit me, Jesus.
Yeah.
In some way.
As long as I'm doing well.
Yeah.
You can have as much love as you want.
As long as the cash flow is... As long as the arrows are pointing towards me.
As long as you're still sucking my dick, I'll tell you whatever you want to hear.
Yeah. What are some of the gems by Jesus? Love thy enemy.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Because that's out of left field. Didn't
Where's
you just say,
from?
well, did I? Hello. Yeah, that Jesus guy is always...
Little book of Jesus quotes.
Yeah.
Get that at your local Waterstones.
Waterstones, yeah, right by the till.
Yeah.
With bookmarks and torches.
Rotating.
Yeah.
Not a rotating thing.
Yeah. You can get a little book of Jesus quotes, little book of Zen, and pet rock. Throwback, retro. But I would go for Jesus quotes.
Always Jesus quotes.
Also sold as the Bible.
Bible.
It's pronounced Bible.
Oh, okay, I've been saying it wrong.
Although I've just realised this has nothing to do with anything. But in, like, Latin, biblio, or maybe Greek, I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
But I came across a word called bibliotherapy the other day. It means therapy by reading. Isn't it interesting how the word for book is also our word for Bible?
Yeah, I suppose
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I knew it was. Ugh. Pick a number between just 4.
4, please.
4, right. This is from usatoday.com.
Yes.
Who just lost against Belgium in football.
Oh. They gave it a good go, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. In the last 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, drinking behind 1 in 10 deaths of working age adults.
Drinking?
Yeah, so 1 in 10 deaths.
In America?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's caused by drinking.
Drinking alcohol?
Yeah, not fluids. Specifically.
Well, we were talking earlier about the gallons and gallons of, like, Mountain Dew that they drink.
Yeah, that wasn't on the podcast
blindness.
though.
No, we were saying earlier.
That was
Off air.
Studio B preparation
Yeah.
time. Yeah, we were talking about how in America, because I bought a Butterfinger recently, which if you go to facebook.com/TFC podcast or
Great plug.
instagram.com/TFC podcast,
Great plug.
you can see me eating and reviewing the Butterfinger. And the conclusion that I came to, because it was imported from America, is that the high fructose syrup ruins it. Too sweet.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And it's the
taste
wrong
good.
kind of sweet. It's not.
It's the headache sweet.
It doesn't taste like sugar. It tastes sweet, technically. That's what it tastes like. That's what I
Yeah.
feel like when I eat that imported
It's almost like
American
a
chocolate.
chemical high.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like sugar.
But it's more of an immediate crash with no perceivable
Yeah.
high. Because I had 2 bites of the Butterfinger and I was like, this is genuinely amazing. And then the 3rd bite, this is horrible. Oh God, what have I done
Diabetes.
with my life? I'm going to kill myself. I feel terrible.
How long do you think it takes before that just numbs away and you don't have that anymore?
I don't know. But I don't think that's something that people who live in America experience. Because they probably are.
Because you
numb
grow
to
up with it, don't you?
Yeah.
I suppose. Some fans outside wanting autographs.
Yeah.
After
let them
the
in
show.
Yeah, after the show.
Yeah.
How far are
Form
we?
an orderly queue.
Yeah, that'll be about 35 minutes.
They'll
Maybe-
wait. They'll wait.
Maybe a lot more or a lot less than that.
They'll wait.
Anyway, drinking behind 1 in 10 deaths of working age adults. So,
How?
well, either excessive alcohol use or, excessive alcohol use. Yeah, across the board.
Just that.
But that constitutes either long-term or short-term problems. Short-term being binge drinking, and long-term being generally alcoholism. And short-term, it can be like car accidents, alcohol poisoning, accidents in general, stuff like violence, stuff like that. And then long-term stuff like cirrhosis.
Yeah,
and-
liver.
yeah. But apparently more of these deaths are from binge drinking as opposed to...
Really? Because you don't often hear about America's binge drinking culture.
Well, there was a huge... I remember a few years ago it was all over the news about Britain's binge drinking culture.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, we're all really worried about it.
We're constantly moaning about it.
Yeah.
We drink too much. Well, personal choice. What are you going to do?
It is a personal choice.
You can't stop selling alcohol. You can't put tax on alcohol to a ridiculous percentage just because some people drink too much of it.
Well, this is what William Kerr, a scientist with the Alcohol Research Group, said that basically he said that they should make alcohol more expensive in order to discourage people from buying it so much. But then the Distilled Spirits Council really disagreed with that.
Did they?
Yeah, they weren't happy with that at all. And Lisa Hawkins, from the impartial board of Distilled Spirits Council, said repeatedly studies have shown that alcohol abusers are affected little by price. And she also said that it's the moderate alcohol consumers who are affected most by price, which means we're moderate alcohol consumers.
Yeah.
Because we're very affected by price.
I think that's true, though, because it's only going to stop people who don't already have a problem.
Yeah.
If you do have a problem already, you're not going to go, oh, it's gone up 15 pence a pint.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to drink anymore.
But then to counter that, to counter what you're saying and what your pal Lisa Hawkins from the Distilled Spirits Council is saying, it does say that a huge amount of these deaths are not from alcoholics. They're just from people who drank too much one night.
Well, what do you want me to do about that?
Well, nothing. But it's just, it gives more credence to the idea that making alcohol more expensive would make a difference.
Well, that's your own fuck up. Like, why are we punishing the masses for the mistakes of the few?
Well, you could look at it that way, but it's not really
In the
punishing
same way
masses,
that
though.
people eat far too much food,
Yeah.
get far too fat, and then the NHS and our tax money has to pay for them to have surgery.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all fast food should be increased in price, because I like moderate consumption of fast food.
Yeah.
I'm not
Heavy
saying
consumption.
I'm not saying that chocolate makes me fat and got diabetes in all my family, and so it should be 58 quid a bar.
Yeah. You're saying
It's
round up all the fat people.
put
Put
them
them
on
in
an
a
island
camp. Yeah, on an island.
and bomb the island with anthrax.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is
That's a very expensive way to do that.
that it's your own personal choice. Alcohol, tobacco, food, anything like this, especially alcohol and tobacco, are aimed, or should be aimed, at an adult market who are free within democratic society to make their own decisions. If you make your own decision to drink 58 pints,
Yeah.
well then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So why should I punish everybody in my country because some people are idiots?
Well, this is something else that really ties into this whole thing, and this is also something that came out recently. A smoking ban has been proposed for people born after the year 2000 in the UK.
They do that in Australia, I think, or in New Zealand.
Well, it says here now the Australian Medical Association is examining the idea. So it says Australia might also do it as well. But basically,
You can't.
this has
you
been
can't do
voted
that.
overwhelmingly by doctors in the United Kingdom to ban smoking for anyone born after 2000.
You can't ban a product.
But I think the argument you're making is that it's your own personal choice, as in a law shouldn't be able to impact upon someone's own personal choice to do what they want, as long as you're not hurting anyone.
Yeah, it's private property.
You're
I'm
allowed
all for you shouldn't be able to smoke in the faces of babies. You shouldn't be able to smoke on trains, planes, and automobiles. But it is your own choice to put what you. This is my whole private property argument: is that your body is the only private property you have,
Yeah.
and so the choice to do whatever you want to do with it is up to you. I don't want to ban all joggers because some cunt gets run down at 5 in the morning because he's not wearing high-vid gear. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's not... I don't care what other people are doing.
Well,
I don't care that teenagers are dying because they're drinking too much in the streets. I don't care.
yeah, but what about the teenagers who die because their friend drank too much? That's the important
because
thing.
their friend drank too much.
Yeah. So you
Why
get
do
into
they die?
Well, because their friend drove a car into their car. Well, not even their friend. What about a kid who's just crossing the street and a drunk driver comes and plows them down? So many thousands of people die every year because of
Yeah, but
other people.
There's
drinking.
so many what-if arguments. Like,
Yeah, but it's less of a what if argument. It's more of a significant statistic. And the same thing with smoking. People talk about how smoking is your own choice and so on, but then that's completely ignoring secondhand smoke. And that kills thousands of people a year die from secondhand smoke. And it's not your choice that someone near you is smoking. Because I completely agree that the purpose of a law should be to protect you from other people, not to protect you from yourselves. And with that in mind, it seems logical to say, yeah, okay, don't ban smoking, don't ban drinking, because it's attempting to protect you from yourself, which is not the purpose of law.
Yeah.
But then it's not. It's really what it is it's protecting you from other people. It's protecting people from secondhand smoke and from drunk drivers, for example, and so on. And that's sort of fair. I mean, I don't think we should ban smoking or alcohol.
but
I think banning smoking is more... I'm more on board with that than
But it's
banning
the
alcohol.
same argument that you get with gun users in America who have the whole, well, if you want to ban guns, you should ban knives because you can just go out and kill anybody and wield people with knives.
Yeah.
And yeah, you might get people that drink drive, but they've broken the law. Like, the law is there to protect people.
Yeah.
Saying you shouldn't.
That's true, yeah.
You shouldn't drink more than this amount and then drive, handle machinery, do anything.
Yeah, but then
you then
if
choose
you...
to do that, you've broken the law. Like,
Yeah.
We've put that law in place. What more do you want to do? I'm not going to ban all things that could possibly cause danger.
Well, but you say you've chosen to break the law, but what you have here really is a drug that increases everyone's propensity to break the law. In general.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, you can see
Well, if
how...
alcohol came on the market now, it would be banned. Like, it's the whole weed versus alcohol argument. Is that, alcohol is a very, very dangerous drug. It kills lots and lots of people.
10% of all deaths, in fact.
Second-hand, first-hand, however much it is, I don't know. It kills a ridiculous amount of people.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it's never going to be banned.
No. I mean, they tried in America, Prohibition went
Didn't
terribly,
work.
yeah.
And so it's never going to be banned now because the tax money that we make on it and the role it has in the economy is so massive. It's the same with the tobacco industries. They're a huge company.
Yeah.
Companies. Industry.
Yeah.
That to take that completely out of the economy would fuck everything royally.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
So you can't do that. So then are you going to pussyfoot around and say, well, you know, we can't have anybody under the age of this doing that and this doing that, or saying this is the law set out. You can't do this. You can't smoke in public. You can't. What do you mean you can't smoke in public? It's outside? Like what's...
Well, yeah, but then you've got... I mean, I think that not being able to smoke in public is a perfectly reasonable law, because I don't smoke, and then if I don't have anything against smoking. I'm not one of those people who says, oh, it's disgusting. Like, I don't care if you want to smoke. Go for it. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I'm not going to tell people not to smoke. But if I'm sitting in a room with lots of people who are smoking, and I'm getting secondhand smoke...
Yeah.
So that is dangerous to my health in the same sense that like imagine if alcohol like gave off some sort of toxic fume.
Yeah.
Then that'd be a more reasonable comparison. You could understand then banning alcohol because it's like this dangerous substance that's like
but there's nothing you can do about sitting in a room with people who are choosing to smoke.
Well, there is, because it could be illegal to smoke in a public place, which it is.
Yeah, it is illegal to smoke in an enclosed public place. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying outside on the street, like, you can't ban that. In somebody's own house, if you go in there and, like...
Yeah, I agree with that,
about that, then you've made the choice to be there. And you can make the choice to leave. So you have to weigh up whether sitting round playing poker with 3 guys smoking cigars is something you want to do. If it is, then you're going to have to take the second-hand smoke because it's 3-on-1 democracy.
Have you heard of third-hand smoke though?
I think it's all a bit shit.
Well, you say that, but
don't know if I buy this.
Let's say, because you were saying that you should be allowed to smoke in your own private home. That's your choice. But then, what about the next owners of that home? Because there's loads of evidence that's come out recently in the past few years to say that just smoking in a room a few times will put these chemicals in the walls and ceiling.
It does, like this room's not too bad, but if you go into a smoker's house...
It's yellow.
It'll be tarred, it'll be tarred.
Yeah, and the argument is that makes that room then cancerous.
I don't think it makes it cancerous.
I don't know.
I think there are... Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, as a smoker, I'm just jumping on that. It's fine.
It says here, the residue of the nicotine coating interior car or room surfaces can react with nitrous acid present in the air to create tobacco-specific nitrosamines carcinogens found in tobacco products.
Yeah, I'm not saying that these walls are now going to probably have a bit of
cancer.
Well, a bit of, carcinogens in, but not enough that's going to kill you.
Well, okay, but what if, for the sake of argument, that someone released a study that's... I'm not going to read all this, maybe that has already happened, but I'm not going to read it, so I don't know. But let's say, for the sake of argument, that someone released a study that said that, yes, it would potentially kill people. Third-hand smoke is, like, a big killer and we never realised it.
Yeah.
Well, would that then change your opinion?
No. Because this is still my private property now.
Yeah, but it won't be... Okay.
If I then sell it, I'll have to write on the house smokers lived here. Then it's your choice.
Well, yeah,
whether
but
you
what
buy
if,
it or not.
But then what if, like, the only houses that are available to buy are houses that smokers have lived in? It's like, imagine
so that's the market that there is. What?
But then should it then also be legal to, like, install one of those, like, in Indiana Jones where he steps on a pressure plate and there are all these holes in the walls that shoot arrows at him? What if I installed those all at my home so that whenever you stepped on the welcome mat, you get shot with 50 poisonous darts? And that was irrevocably installed. You'd have to take down the foundation of the building in order to uninstall that. How is that fair on the next tenant?
Well, if you put it in the housing little bit of info in the bio...
Yeah, but it's not fair though, really.
Well, then, if someone chooses to buy that house, well, then that's...
Yeah, but what if that catches on and becomes, like... I don't know what percentage it is of people who smoke in their own homes, but let's say, like, 50% of homes in Britain have these poison dart shooting things installed in the walls. Then at that point, you might be in a situation where you need to buy a new home, and the only homes that are available have these. Well, it's not. It's not good.
What do you want me to do about it? That's the market.
No,
That's
it should be illegal to install poison dart things in your walls.
No, why should it?
Because it's really dangerous to people.
Yeah, but it's your own private property. You can do whatever you like.
Yeah, but if whatever you like indirectly harms other people, you shouldn't be able to do it.
But it doesn't really indirectly harm
Well,
anyone.
it does though, because there's all this evidence about third-hand smoke saying that it causes carcinogens in the air.
Yeah.
Tobacco residue in walls and
Well,
ceilings reacts with nitrous in the air or whatever it is.
I've written it on my little slip. If you choose to get it, you choose to get it. If the market then becomes such a place that that's the only place you can afford, well, I'm sorry, but what do you want me to do about it?
Well, I want the law to say... Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm really playing devil's advocate
Yeah.
quite hard here. But devil's advocate me wants the law to say ban smoking altogether, so then third-hand smoke is eliminated. That's the solution.
But then where does potential what-ifs stop? Do I then counter that by saying, OK, we'll ban that, but we'll also ban any kind of factory producing anything because they're billowing toxic smoke into the air that's really fucking up the entire world?
Yes.
Not just the potential.
You say this as if it's like a really bizarre, crazy thing to suggest.
This is sort of the whole small-time government thing.
Yeah.
Really, if you want to think about what's going on in the air, people say, oh, you shouldn't be able to smoke on roads, where other people go, well, there's 400 cars driving past you, billowing out smoke and petrol gases.
It's true.
Like, people go, oh, the smog in China is bad. Oh, it's because they're all smokers. No, it's because factories pump out 24/7.
It's because
billowing black smoke into the air.
Because everything you bought in the past week was made in China.
And so that I think is going to be the next sort of bubble smoking kind of thing to come in, is that the air we breathe anyway, regardless of smoke, is so full of shite.
Yeah, but you're saying that argument is to say there's piss in the pool, so you might as well piss in there. Yeah,
but I'm saying this is a much, much bigger scale, doing much more damage.
Just because you've got a big problem doesn't mean that hacking away at a small part of it won't make a difference.
But this isn't.
I believe it was Jamie Oliver who said every little helps.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't come up with it, but he was contractually obligated by Sainsbury's to say it.
Yeah.
So, and it's true. Every little does help. You've got to start somewhere. You have to chip away at the iceberg in order to get rid of that iceberg.
But I don't think this is even the same iceberg. People don't put this in the same iceberg.
Well, you did.
Yeah, I did, because I'm trying to defend my right to do whatever the fuck I want to do.
I'm not entirely sure where I stand on this, because it feels really wrong to say let's ban smoking, but smoking is dangerous to people who don't smoke.
But so's a lot of things.
Yeah, but again, that's the piss in the pool argument. That's a bad argument.
Should we ban driving because you might crash into somebody?
Well, no, because driving's really useful.
So smoking
No,
is great. Really useful for just getting through the day.
Well, I suppose it's not really fair to say you're only allowed to do useful things, though, is it? So that's a bad argument, I'll admit.
Hedonism.
Yeah,
Woo!
Yeah. But driving is necessary to our economy? I'm trying to come up with a
driving has more pros than smoking, that's undoubted. But there's a lot of things that you do that really have no real benefit to you.
Yeah.
Like, why should we allow people to eat as much McDonald's as they want?
Yeah, but that doesn't hurt other people, though.
Yeah, but their fatness and their eventual...
It offends you.
No, not only does it offend me, but it's... when they have to go in for surgery, when they're getting medication, when they're getting all their insulin free from the NHS...
You've got to pay for
Who's paying that tax? Me. And where's that tax coming from? Oh, we'll just put up cigarettes and booze a couple more pence.
Yeah, but then you could also say, what about the 10% of people who die who are in hospital from alcohol-related illnesses?
Yeah, well then you shouldn't get any help.
Why?
Because if it's your own choice, private property, then...
Yeah, but for a lot of those people who are ill because of alcohol, it wasn't their own choice. A lot of it is accidents and so on.
Yeah, no, when it is... When you've drank your liver out,
yeah,
why should I give you another liver?
love your neighbour.
When you've
That's mine.
when you've smoked your lungs away, should I give you another? We don't.
Yeah. Yeah,
Why?
but that's a really... That goes to a really dark place really
Yeah,
quick.
it does. It
to
does.
say that the
but
only healthcare that should be provided is
for people who fit these parameters, yeah,
for people
it's
who are
not-
hurt by others. Like, if you were hurt by yourself, you shouldn't be able to, like, oh, what's like, you stub your toe and now it's gone gangrenous and your legs fell off. Fuck up.
Yeah,
You shouldn't
no,
have
but
stubbed your toe, should you?
there's a difference between an accidental thing like that or falling off a ladder, and
Also accidental, though.
yeah, but all these accidental things that you do to yourself.
I was actually given the wrong type of ladder. I fell off and my left hand was crushed. I called National Accident Helpline.
But there's a difference between that and knowing the risks, taking it, and then it all going horribly wrong.
Yeah. Where? Hang on. What point are you at?
There's a
Because I'm
difference-
stuck on National Accident Helpline now.
There's a difference between, stubbing your toe and it getting all infected and you needing surgery or whatever,
Yeah.
because that is purely accidental. There is becoming ill. You can't help that.
Yeah.
But when you are choosing to do something which potentially can damage your health,
Yeah, but choice is such a difficult thing because what
yeah,
if you...
it's a huge topic. I'm not saying that smokers and drinkers and fatties shouldn't get any help from the NHS.
It's the case for a lot of people who drink and smoke and overeat, that they made the choice to get into that spiral when they were depressed or when they were grieving or when they were feeling had some sort of psychological problem. And often it's not a choice to become addicted to
Yeah,
something.
addiction is a very, very tricky topic
Yeah.
in that kind of way, and it leads to a lot of things. And that's why things like this won't ever happen. You won't ever say, well, the NHS isn't letting fatties or drunks or smokers in anymore.
Blacks.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Touch wood.
I'm not really. That's a joke about me being racist from earlier on. I'm not really racist. Or am I? Yes.
It's an interesting topic. I stand for you can do what you like.
No, this doesn't feel right because we've not solved it. Usually we solve big problems like this on TLDR and TFC podcasts in general.
Yeah, there's a lot of... Well, I get it. Another sort of branch of that argument are people who choose to go hiking and then get stuck up a mountain, and we have
Yeah.
to send out the Coast Guard and planes and tax money, and we get, not necessarily drunks, but people go out in sailboats, and then the tide changes and you're near Calais.
Yeah,
We have to go out and save you. It's your own choice. You fucked up. Should I pay for you to get saved? Yes.
Yeah,
It
you
seems
should
natural
do.
consensus. Yes.
Yeah.
But then I chose to do whatever. Should money save me as well? Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, I don't think that whether or not it was your choice should really factor in. I think to just have a very black and white simple system in this case really works, because to just say, right, when someone needs help, we'll help them.
We'll help them.
That works regardless of why. I don't think there should be any sort of value system, any sort of judgment like that.
Yeah, no, I'm all for that. I think the more help, the better. But
Yeah.
people will argue that. People will argue that you shouldn't get any help.
Yeah. Why did we start talking about this?
Smoking. You wanted to ban all smoking.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I'll probably get on that after the episode.
Because people born after 2000?
People
want to
born
ban
after
smoking.
2000, there's a smoking ban proposed for people born after 2000. So people are about 14 now. So that would probably go into effect in like 2 years.
Yeah.
Is that the age in the UK still? 16.
Yes.
Was
Not
it
sure.
put up to 18?
I think it's 18, yeah.
So 4 years time then.
I think it's one of those weird laws where if you're on the street and having a fag, it's fine if you're 16, but if you try and buy them and
Oh,
you're
right.
18,
That's why I always get people going, mate, go to the shop for me.
yeah, alright then.
And I was like, no.
I always go, yeah, alright then.
I always say no, and they're like really indignant and shocked. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm on a higher plane than you.
I'm enlightened and you're not. So.
Yeah. And then I'd go in and buy loads of sweets for myself.
Just I'm done.
Yeah. I'd just sit in front of them and eat them.
Just all the fruit pastels in it once.
Yeah, and wine gums as well. Oh, lovely.
I'm not for the banning of anything. I don't think there's anything I'll ban.
What about disease?
I don't think I can really ban it.
Yeah, but what if you could?
Yeah, right.
There you go.
No, but then everyone will be alive. We're already an ageing population and it's ruining us.
No, not everyone will be alive because people would still die
Yeah, people would die, but a lot later.
a lot later.
Of just
yeah.
natural causes.
Yeah. There was actually, this is something else that isn't on my list, so this is a bit of a bonus for you. But they found another planet called Gliese 832c.
Catchy name.
It rolls off the mouth. Word.
Mars,
Mouth
Jupiter, GL, Plaxi, 84c.
832c.
832.
Potentially habitable super Earth discovered 16
Super
light
Earth,
years ago.
brilliant.
Yeah, it's a class
What
of
makes
planet.
it super?
I'm going to
Just full of
find
really
out
nice
actually.
people.
Just full of super people. Just great.
The
all have
terrain
good
is
eggs.
great all over.
Yeah,
Great for golf.
It all looks like Wales.
It's just lovely.
A super Earth is an extrasolar planet, as in outside of our solar system, with a mass higher than Earth's but substantially below the mass of the solar system's smaller gas giants Uranus,
Yeah.
or Uranus, and Neptune, or your penis. Thank you. Which are 15 and 17 Earth masses respectively. The term super Earth refers only to the mass of the planet and does not imply anything about the surface conditions or habitability.
Oh, well then they tease me with that headline. Super Earth found. Better than current Earth, let's all go.
But it's
Oh no, wait, it's shit.
Oh, hang on, here's an even catchier name. That Gliese 832c is just the sort of...
Scientific name.
No, that's the less scientific. That's the stage
slang.
name. Yeah.
Yeah.
The scientific name is GJ832.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's... Remember that. Tattoo that.
GJ832.
It's potentially habitable, though, which is the interesting thing. And... Do you
But where
remember
is it?
16 light years away. But do you remember a few episodes ago on TLDR? It might have been last episode. Might have been the episode before that. I'm not sure. But we talked about NASA creating the warp engine,
Yeah.
which would let you travel. I can't remember exactly how fast now, but you'd get to this planet in like probably a few weeks. So, this is why I'm talking about this, because you were just saying that you wouldn't get rid of disease because we'd have too many people.
Yeah.
Put some of them on one of these warp drive ships.
Yeah.
Go to GJ832. What's that name again?
GJ832.
And then just, put them and they'll become as Welsh. They'll become extrasolar Welsh people.
But then
Exo-Welsh.
who's paying for this?
I'll chip in.
You'll chip in.
LeVar Burton can pay a bit.
Yeah, he did do that Kickstarter, so he's got a lot of money kicking about.
Seth MacFarlane can take back the $1 million that he gave to LeVar Burton for the Kickstarter.
Gave him $1 million?
Yeah.
Why?
But ignore that because he's taking that back and giving that to me.
Oh, okay, fine. Thank God.
And then Seth can actually come to GJ832. I'll...
Take him. We don't need him.
He'll still broadcast to Earth, though.
Can he stop all
That's the interesting thing. If we had these two planets, let's say you had two planets, Earth, and then Phil, placeholder name, but let's call it Phil. Then, actually no, Phil, that'll get confusing. Let's just call it GJ832. It's simpler, rolls off the tongue. Would it then, and then we figured out some way of broadcasting at faster than light speed, so it's instantaneous.
Mm-hmm.
Probably violates the laws of physics, but let's just say...
Let's just go with it. Let's roll with it.
It would be really interesting because...
Hypothetica.
They would have... that's a great, now defunct podcast on tsepodcast.com that you can listen to. Neither of us are in it, so don't listen to it, but you can. Would it be similar to... Because a lot of our media here in Britain comes from America.
Yeah.
And a lot of media in every country in the world comes from America.
Yeah. So would their media come from America?
Or would our media come from there? And would it seem alien and weird and like Japanese, like, oh, look at this crazy GJ832 game show where they eat wood? Or would it be like Family Man from GJ832?
I don't know.
Or do you think our cultures would diverge massively at some point?
Well, can we visit? Can we pop over?
I was just going to say, yeah, because I'll fund it, I'll pop in every 2 weeks, like a managing director who goes to all the different branches. I'll go there and nip in, make sure everything's right, have a poke around. It is several times the mass of Earth, so it'll take me a bit to get all the way around. But I'll buy I don't know, Lexus. What's a fast car? What's a really fast one? Ferrari.
Yeah.
I'll buy a Ferrari.
Red one.
Oh yeah, what? Obviously red. Of course it will be red. I'll buy a red one. A DeLorean maybe. That's the
Because
type of Ferrari, isn't it?
If we can visit and chop and change, then it just basically becomes another country.
But would it have its own nations, do you think?
Yeah, because it's a massive, huge Earth.
Yeah.
But it would just mean we have double Earth. So there'll be more travelling. But if we can't ever go,
Yeah.
then culture would change massively.
I think if you give it a few hundred years even, culture would change hugely.
Well, culture changes massively
But
regardless.
then, do you think they'd have their own separate internet? Or do you think... I bet they would. I bet they'd set up an internet. But then do you think we
I bet
can
it'll be faster.
Typical. But then do you think we can go on GJ832 websites? Well, I wonder what Reddit GJ832 is like. Oh, Marklar country declares...
Well, probably, if we set it up, if we're shipping them over,
Yeah.
we're not going to ship them over and go, well, you just do whatever you like then. We're going to set them up under our rules.
No smoking, number one.
Boo!
New society, no smoking on TFC Planet.
No!
That's a good name, by the way, TFC Planet.
TFC Planet, yeah.
Planet TFC is better,
Just with
actually.
big statues
Planet
of us two.
Yeah.
And then a smaller.
And
statue
it'll have
of
like
other
a
people.
neon sign on it. Actually, have you seen, in town, here in the great sunny town of Nuneaton, England, have you seen that big FedEx building? There's like a laser sign on it.
No.
Well,
Where?
the big FedEx building.
Where?
Near Kegs.
Yeah.
On the side of that big building, it's just brick, but somehow they've projected from somewhere a sign using some sort of lasers.
Right.
And it's really futuristic, but it's also...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's also really shoddy.
Yeah.
Because I was walking past it earlier and it was just an advert for one of the local nightclubs. And it said non-stop... The thing is, they can only fit so much on at a time.
Yeah.
And it said non-stop house music. That lasted for about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
All night. That lasted for about 5 seconds. Long. That lasted for about 5 seconds. And I was just like, all night I got the picture.
Oh,
I understood what you
no,
meant by all
no.
night. You didn't have to say all night.
Long.
Long.
How much extra have they paid for that long?
Yeah, probably got 40p. Yeah. Oh, hello. We can have, yes.
Yes.
Elbows. Oh, we'll do it.
TLDR.
TFC podcast.com. Yeah. TLDR, the internet. Digest. Yeah, let's do it. With Phil and... Oh, I couldn't afford the extra, sorry.
Our
don't wanna
seizure
snub
dog's
you.
money wouldn't spread that far.
Whoa, spoilers. That deal hasn't gone through yet.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah. Possible sponsorship on the horizon for our real fans out there. That's a spoiler though.
Oh, I can't talk about it. Can't talk about it.
I'd love to, but I can't. Yeah, anyway. The thing is, I haven't actually read this article about Super Planet because I didn't think we'd be talking about it. So,
Well, a super planet would be nice.
do you think we'll ever get to a point? We were saying, whenever we talked about that warp thing, last week or whenever it was,
I think it might have been last week.
I said that that whole vision of a Star Trek-like future would never happen because there's just nothing going on in space. It's space. It's spacious. Yeah, it's empty. There's nothing there. But if we had loads of different planets with humans on it,
Yeah.
left it for a few thousand years,
Yeah.
then we could have one of those sort of futuristic things where all these different spacefaring planets and nations, albeit all made up of humans.
They'll go to war though, wouldn't they?
Yeah. It'd be like the TV series Stargate, which is a lot like Star Trek, only everyone is humans.
Everyone is human, saves on makeup.
It saves on makeup, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. And also, I mean, you know why everyone's humans, don't you?
In Stargate,
Yeah.
saves on makeup.
No. You know why, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, it's because the Goa'uld originally enslaved humans and seeded them on different planets around the galaxy.
Did we overthrow them?
Season 9, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe season 7.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only watched up to season 4.
Okay.
Richard Dean Anderson's still on top form of season 4, though.
RDA.
Yeah, oh, brilliant. He's so sassy. That's
I
what I
bet
like
he is.
about him. You know, the Egyptian gods will say something to him,
He'll be
He'll
like,
say,
fuck you.
yeah, he'll say, no, he won't say that because it's
Say, oh,
daytime. He'll say,
flip off.
I don't even give a care. And then Daniel Jackson will be like, I do. And then, it's just so much drama and tension in one show. How can you fit all that in one show? I don't know, but they do.
I've never even seen a single episode of Stargate.
It's brilliant. So good. I might watch that later on. I've not watched it in 4 days.
4 days?
Yeah.
Are you feeling okay? You got the sweats?
I'm feeling quite nauseous. Yeah. Yeah. I've had 4 mini heart attacks while we've been recording.
Very, very tiny ones.
Yeah, but I didn't want to alarm anyone.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Noble.
Thank you. Noble, yeah. People have described me as noble. I would hesitate to agree because I'm so humble.
Modest.
People have also described me as humble and modest. Yeah. Do you want to talk about anything else? Because I have a few more bookmarks here that I've not read.
Yeah.
So
what have we got? Give me a quick headline of all of them.
Right. I'll give you a keyword from all of them.
Yeah.
You can decide. Or a key phrase. Teenagers being weird. New state of matter discovered. That's the entire headline. I can't do it. I'm just going to read the headline.
Yeah.
Why teenagers act crazy at the NewYorkTimes.com. New state of matter discovered at IFL Science. And France passes anti-Amazon bill aimed at helping small bookstores. We'll put links to all of these. On
Teenagers.
TLC
Give me a
podcast.
quick teenager rundown.
So-
Why are we all mental? I'm not a teenager anymore.
Ooh, this is a really long article. This is really long.
Oh, skip it then. Just don't do that.
I reckon the gist is brain chemistry.
Yeah.
Quirk of brain chemistry.
Hormones.
Without reading the article,
Probably hormones.
I'm going to weigh in and say hormones.
Hormones and all the high corn fructose syrup.
High fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
HFCS.
Yeah.
Yeah. And cannabis.
Cannabis.
Yeah.
No, cannabis makes everything better.
Yeah, but before a certain age.
Makes
say-
everything much, much worse.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm going to Google this
7-year-old
actually.
weed, it just go horribly wrong.
Cannabis psychosis.
Prepubescent.
The top result there is NHS. Young. Yeah, prepubescent.
Oh, did you hear Rolf Harris is a nonce?
Yeah. That was on the
That's a shame, isn't it?
that was on the news and the dentist. Well, was,
Yeah.
But in my head, he was just going, "Oh, hello, Jimmy. Look at me wobbly board." And Jimmy was going,
Tiny
"I don't really
kangaroo,
want to look at
yeah,
that, Rolf." But then I realised halfway through I was doing a Kenny Baker impression for Jimmy Savile. So, which if anything did make it funnier in my head. And then the old lady across from me was
Just scowling at you.
scowling at me.
We'll never get Animal Hospital on TV again. I used to love that show.
Okay.
Just rabbits getting their heads cut off and stuff.
See, that's the thing. If you fuck boys,
Or girls.
I'd only go for boys though, personally.
Okay, cool.
But if you fuck young boys and girls for like 10, 20 years or whatever, but you also run a TV programme where you save dying animals,
Yeah.
does one
Outweigh the other.
balance the other out? Yeah.
Apparently not.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I just found this article, teen marijuana use linked to earlier psychosis onset. But I haven't actually read the study. So it might be bullshit. Because I read one of them that linked marijuana to psychosis, and it was actually a study in mice, and it didn't even really link the link.
Everything in moderation. Comes back to my moderation argument.
How about AIDS? Only a
If
teaspoon.
you're going to have it, have a little bit of it.
No, yeah, that's true.
It's manageable.
Good rule of thumb, actually.
You
I
can take
tried.
pills now, you can survive forever.
Yeah, I tried to destroy that rule, but it does work with AIDS even.
It works with everything.
What about concentration camps?
If you're going to have them,
Only have a few.
have a few of them.
Yeah, shit. Oh. What about free medicine for all?
Well, I mean, if you're going to have it, give it to the people who deserve it the most.
Yeah, but it's free in every sense of the word. It doesn't cost anyone anything.
Oh no, that's completely undermined my whole system.
Yeah, oh no.
Balls!
Alright, I'm going to skip that adolescent one then.
Yeah, not worth it.
Although I will say, yeah, I agree, teenagers, Insufferable.
Crazy.
Don't like them. Don't like them. New state of matter discovered. The problem is I haven't read any of these. This has got a pretty picture though. I don't think this has got anything to do with the...
Is it a picture of a naked lady?
No, but I can find one.
Nah.
No?
Just draw one later.
I'll draw one for you.
Oh, thanks.
Sorry.
Save me doing it.
This article is really long.
Don't bother with it then. Skip
Oh
it.
no, I can read it all. I can read it all out loud. Do you want me to? I can.
No, don't feel like you have to.
I'm just saying I can.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure physically and mentally you can.
I'm really trying hard to pick out key words that will just give me everything I need to know. I can see quantum fog.
If you see those words together ever, skip immediately.
I'm going to skip this. But still, new state of matter.
Yeah, that's handy.
I saw, this wasn't in the past week, this was just over a week ago. You know Max Tegmark,
Yeah.
Swedish quantum physicist
Yeah.
who works at MIT though at the minute. Does a lot of documentaries. He put forward a theory that consciousness is a state of matter. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose it is. What did he use to clarify that in
check.
any way?
Science.
Yeah. I thought it would be. That's classic Max.
Yeah, it's Tegmark all over.
Yeah.
It's sort of thing
It's got the
you do.
Teggy marks all over
Yeah,
it.
it's got the Tegmark. It's got the hallmarks of the Tegmark.
Of a Teg mark.
Yeah.
Classic Teg.
Yeah. Right, let's skip that one.
Just skip right
This,
over that.
this is the last one
Just
I've got.
gloss right over that.
Again, I didn't read this either, but I think we can get more out of it without having read it. France passes anti-Amazon bill aimed at helping small bookstores.
That's good.
French lawmakers passed a bill on... This is fairly short, so I could read it.
Yeah, read it.
I'll probably get halfway through and then decide not to. French lawmakers passed a bill on Thursday. Thursday's link. I'm not going to click it. With the goal of helping small bookstores. It's a red link, so I'm not going to click it. I'm going to click blue links. The bill prohibits large online companies, including Amazon, from offering free delivery on discounted books. The law has been unofficially deemed the anti-Amazon law, though it does not specifically target Amazon.
Well, that's good in theory, because everyone likes a bookstore that you can go in and smell the books, and it's a bit like Black Books.
That's literally the only reason I ever go into a small bookstore, because it reminds me of Black Books. Then I'm like, where's Dylan Moran? Where's Bill Bailey? This isn't funny.
There's nobody drunk here.
There's just a vague smell of mould. It turns out most books are shit.
Yeah.
It turns out most books
Nobody
are...
wants
It
this.
turns out you can judge a book by its cover. No, I don't want to
covered in
read
dog
8
shit,
ways
I
to
don't
beat the menopause with dignity. I mean, I'll buy it, because it's only 48p. I'd be losing money if I didn't.
But that's the thing. These small bookstores,
Yeah.
they're failing because they're not cheap enough.
Well, yeah.
Amazon's well cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
So, evolve or die.
Yeah. If a competitive... That's the nature of competition. If one thing wins,
capitalism.
you can't just help it.
It's capitalism 101.
The thing is, I express this opinion and I say,
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
But on the other hand, I feel as though, you can say, oh yeah, don't help small bookstores because they're failing for a reason. But on the other hand, the alternative is to just encourage monopolies, which I feel like in the long run might be bad.
Yeah.
But then should you... I don't know.
It is a difficult one.
difficult.
It is definitely a difficult one.
Yeah.
But
We'll solve it, we'll get there.
yeah, we will. Slowly but
Give us a few
surely.
minutes.
But
We'll
what,
get Tegmark on.
what else can you do? Just say, well, we're going to ban these because they do it too cheap. No.
Yeah.
Some small bookstores will still exist. There'll just be less of them. There is still a market for people going in, picking it up, smelling it, reading it, flicking through it.
Are you talking about... What are you talking about?
Small
Dildo
bookstores.
shops. Sorry.
Dildo stores as well. The 3 on
Hey.
Queen's Road has gone down to 2. Maybe even 1. I think it's gone down to 1.
One of them has been taken over by an e-cigarette shop.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Ban them!
My brother said that he went into that sex shop once, and there was a dildo called the Omar, and it was huge. And I was like, whoa.
Whoa.
Cool story, bro. But
I
it
never
wasn't
went in.
condescending because he is my brother, so
Yeah.
it's fine. Say that.
I never went into any of those.
No,
I'm now massively over the legal age to go into the 1 remaining. but I feel like a massive pervert if I do
Yeah,
that, so I'm never ever going to do it.
I'm never ever going to go into any sort of adult shop.
And they're
I
also...
can't imagine what it was like back in the day when the internet didn't exist to buy
Have you
porn.
ever seen that Trigger Happy TV sketch where they set up outside a pawn shop and an old man comes out with a brown carrier bag and there's a big banner that says "Congratulations, 1 million customers," and they're playing trumpets and they're chasing down the street trying to give him balloons.
That's hilarious.
With like a camera and he's like, ooh,
I've not seen
fucking brilliant. Trigger Happy TV, bring back Trigger Happy TV.
I saw something to do with Dom Jolly recently. Don or Dom?
He went to school with Osama bin Laden.
What?
True story.
What?
That is an absolutely true story.
Where?
In the Lebanon.
Why?
Because he was born in Lebanon.
Why?
Why? I actually has Lebanese parents.
Why?
And,
This is crazy.
Osama bin Laden was educated there. I think they went to some like rich private school.
Dom Jolly. Dom Jolly is a British television comedian. You're wrong.
Type in Dom Jolly, Osama bin Laden.
Born Beirut. Oh yeah.
Oh, Beirut, Lebanon.
Oh damn. Beirut, Lebanon. Yeah. The one in Lebanon.
Yeah.
Shit.
Not the one in Croydon.
No, not the one in Croydon. No, off the A13. I don't know anything about roads.
Yeah, same driving the A13.
I don't drive. All right, hang on a second. Oh, it's not on his Wikipedia.
Just Google it.
Dom Jolly bin Laden. Oh no, mirror.co.uk. Oh, I've embarrassed myself. Dom Jolly did go to school with bin Laden.
Yes. Yes.
Dom says it sounds like a joke, but it isn't. I grew up in the Lebanon. Don't say the.
The Lebanon.
Call it Lebanon.
Well, he's
I never
Lebanese, so
say.
he can say whatever he likes.
No, it's British. Said on Wikipedia. I never say. Oh, I grew up in the England. Because I'm not a cunt.
That's true.
Boo! Lebanese people. Boo!
Boo.
And Yemen. Oh, the Yemen.
Why Yemen?
Because people say the Yemen.
Yemen. Lebanese food is delicious though, so swings and roundabouts.
He says here, I went to the same school as Osama bin Laden did, not at the same time. He says, when I was 8, he would have been in his final year, but it's possible we wandered past each other in the corridor. I've tried finding him on Friends Reunited.
Quite
Have a
an old post is this then.
It's only 2007, that's still outdated.
2007.
Although that was 7 years
7
ago.
fucking years ago, yeah.
I was
We were in year
28.
9.
Yeah, we were in year 9.
Or maybe.
I wasn't really
Not.
28. Clearly I was 14. Anyway, yeah, brick and mortar books, bookstores versus online.
Internet's the future, man.
Well, you say that.
Kill off the high street, man.
This article was only published... When was the 26th?
A week ago.
1 week ago.
Yeah.
US publishers' revenue from ebooks roughly flat in 2013, but unit sales rose chart. Alright, that headline is really badly written. That doesn't... Basically, let me read the Reddit version of that headline. Online book sales have surpassed brick and mortar sales for the first time.
Good.
So people bought more ebooks in 2013 than actual books.
At least they're still buying books.
For me, if a book that I want isn't on the Pirate Bay, I consider it
Not really
unavailable
worth it,
to me in every way. Even if it's a book I really want to read.
Oh, it costs £4.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it is in there, but it's not in. It's in Mobi.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to convert it over.
Yeah,
No,
don't need that headache.
No.
No. I'll download it, but I won't seed. No.
Delete torrent immediately.
Yeah, that's my bandwidth.
Just to spite
You're-
people.
I'm already immoral. I don't need to outweigh it a bit. No thanks. With more ebooks being sold, the seemingly contradictory 0.7% drop in revenue suggests they're being sold at lower prices.
Good.
So yeah, ebooks are cheaper and being...
And better for the environment because we don't have to kill so many trees. Let's stop all books because we're cutting the oxygen supply in the world with all the trees we're cutting down. Boo!
We say
Boo!
that.
People doing things that might somehow indirectly affect some other people. Boo!
The thing people forget when they talk about deforestation and stuff like that. Yeah, deforestation is bad, but not all wood and paper comes from deforestation because the tree is a plant. You can have tree farms, and they do.
Yeah. That toilet company. But
Charmin. It's not called Charmin though anymore, is it?
remember who did
Cushelle.
we email once?
Oh, loads of people. We've emailed a lot of people ambitiously. It hasn't worked
I
out.
think it was a tissue company like Kleenex.
Kleenex, yeah. We had a really long email exchange where they were thinking of sponsoring one of our podcasts, and then they realised that it's quite a small time compared to Kleenex. Was it Kleenex?
It was something like that. And they were planting like a tree for every packet of tissues sold or something.
Yeah.
We were like, that's great. We'd love to spread the message.
Yeah, and their PR people emailed us.
I think I've got their number on this board somewhere.
Read out. Shall I ring it? I'll call it.
I don't know which one it is. Let's try this one.
Alright. Hang on. It doesn't start with our local area code, does it?
No.
Good. Rule those ones out immediately.
0135.
Hang on a minute. Which one is O? Is that the one that looks like the letter O?
Yeah.
Alright. I always forget. 0135
366
366
9939.
9939.
Now this could be a completely different number altogether. Just put it on speaker and see what happens.
It's calling. Now it's calling. Hello.
Riyadh Public Relations is now closed. Our normal office hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5:30.
Leave a message.
For urgent media inquiries, please call 07768 821 361 or 07867 974.
I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Is this message now?
Yes, on the message.
Hello, we're from tfcpodcast.com. Sorry? Yeah, anyway. Where are we on the sponsorship?
We emailed you back in about late 2012 and we haven't heard back
Yeah.
in, about 15, 16, 17, 18 months now.
A little bit annoying.
But so just give us a cheeky email back.
No, just tell us now if you're on... Are they on the line?
I imagine so, like in American films.
Yeah.
And we'll just pick up the phone when they know it's us.
Hello? Yeah, anyway, what's our email address?
The
it's ended.
Chronicles at gmail.com.
It's already gone. They'll get it.
Yeah,
they'll probably
they'll get
listen
it.
to this.
Yeah.
And,
That'll just be streaming around the office tomorrow.
yeah. I'll tell you what. I'll find out what Kleenex PR number. It's really difficult to find phone numbers on Google.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
It's probably 01353 669939.
Is that the one I just ran?
Yeah.
Oh. Was that Kleenex, though?
It was a PR company. It said something was a PR company.
Let's just find PR companies. PR company. I'm going to call the first one.
Okay.
Big Cat Group. 0121
0121
200 0910. Right.
What do we do if they answer? Question mark.
We just asked for a sponsorship. Answer your phone, come on. It's ridiculous, really.
Bit embarrassing.
Yeah. If I was a PR company, I wouldn't want this going out to millions of TFC listeners.
Might not answer.
I'll try and...
Oh, this is a bit awkward.
Is there anyone else you can think of that we can get a quick sponsorship from?
I could give you a quick number.
Yeah, go on. Who is it? And what is it? What is this?
Just a small business.
Okay.
I know that. I know.
What business does he own?
A sort of media conglomerate. Oh, you just got a phone call.
Oh, answer that quick.
Hello.
Hi, can we get a sponsorship?
Who's calling?
This is TFC Podcast. Who's this?
This is Mr. Emerald.
Who do you represent?
I represent the TFC network as a whole.
Oh, that's embarrassing because I represent the TFC network as a whole.
Oh. Well, I could definitely sort you out a sponsorship.
Yeah, go on then. Can we have TLDR, the internet. I'm just going to tell you off speaker.
Good plan.
Thank you. Can we? I'm also going to hang up. Can we have TLDR, the Internet Digest, sponsored by the TFC network?
Yeah.
So at the start of every episode, I'll say, sponsored by the TFC network, TLDR, the Internet Digest.
Brilliant. That sounds good to me.
And then how much will that be?
Oh, you know, about 14 grand.
14
Yeah.
per what? Listener
Yeah.
or annum?
Listener.
We'll do listener for now.
Yeah, and then annum later.
Cool. That's it, really.
Cool.
Thanks.
Just have your people call my people.
I'll just call you in a bit.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to put my phone back in my pocket and just talk face to face.
Oh, cool. I'm probably going to keep the prop phone by the ear.
Keep it there, yeah.
Makes it seem like I'm doing something pretty cool.
Problem is, though, you'll get sweaty phone disease.
Oh,
SPD.
I'll throw that
that's
down.
gone now.
Don't need that anymore.
Cool, sorted out one sponsorship then. That's good.
Good epi.
Yeah, good episode all round, really.
Yeah, we did a great job.
So I think it's time for our outro music.
Bye, Phil and Matty.
Phil and Matty.
Bye, listeners at home.
Listeners at home.
Bye for another week.
Another week.
This has been TLDR, the Internet
Bye.
Digest.
Man outside in a van. Bye. I think I hear him driving off.
Bye.
Oh no, he just turned his van off.
He's turned it off, turned the van off.
Turn the engine off.
There we go.
Yeah. The van that's a synecdoche. That's when you use one word to refer to
Another word?
when you refer to the smaller part of something to refer to the larger part of it, or vice versa.
We are ending on a high this episode.
So if someone comes up to you and says, "What does synecdoche mean?" You can give my.
I'll say, listen to TLDR Epi 5.
Yeah.
Available on all good apps.
iTunes, Stitcher. Do you have any more trivia about the word synecdoche? Yeah, all right. Off the top of my head, film trivia. Synecdoche, New York. That's a film with which dead actor in it?
Patrick Swayze.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Close.
Very close.
Oh,